in any case, there's something else that can shut off.
No, I understand. All right, guys. Major technical issue, which was the unfortunately, instead of exiting the studio to reload the live stream, hoping there would be less issues, I pressed end stream instead of leave studio. Really good, eh? So hopefully there'll be a few people that might show up. Watch this. We had 30 people. Now it'll be like 2 people that are going to show up. So since this is a new stream, what I'm going to end up doing is we're going to re-show Mohamed Alex Fortier's channel content, what we are basically we're talking about on the other stream. I might actually end up maybe, I'm not even sure on my part, I might even delete that other stream because there was probably so much technical issues. So we're going to start over. So take 2, guys. We already have 11 people back, so we'll give it a few more minutes to make sure that hopefully we'll get the 27 people that were here initially. Really sorry. It was my mistake. I wanted to exit the studio. We are going to show again the content. So the title, I'll fix it up to have Xander as well as Mohamed Alex Fortier on the title. But so let's look once more at the content. And I'm really sorry that that I made a mistake. But to be honest, there is a lot of technical issues. There was a lot of cutting off. Everything was wrong. I took down a few other things that might have been sucking the internet Wi-Fi. So it looks not blurry, eh? Nope. And there's no cutting. So let's without any further ado, let's look at the infrastructure that Alex Fortier, who is known as Mohamed on TikTok, captured. This is, I think, 20 seconds, but it has gone insanely viral on TikTok. How many views did you say you're up to?
Oh, let me check.
In the millions, obviously, but what, 8 million?
Check this out.
I'll pop this up.
Right now at, well, 7.8 million if you add both my my posts. If you put my video and my pictures, I'm at 7.8 million plus.
Just that, and I invited you to my house just for that. I thought there was way more views than that.
How many billion of us are we on the planet?
Exactly.
Mind blowing. That's all I can say. It's purely, I take luck, because I was lucky to see that star. And a lot of people told me, well, you took a picture and you showed it. Well, I had to start with luck because I was so freaking lucky to see that star in the sky.
And when you went, obviously, you knew the direction. You went the next day and it was not there.
Exactly. Next day, I was even with my girlfriend this time. And nothing. So it was obviously.
She's right here.
There you go.
Fortunately, this is my phone. It's not really good. So I'm taking pictures with my Sony as well. And I don't know. So here, let's go. That's bad.
I have lots more. I'm gonna put them on my wall. I'm gonna do. I haven't filmed it though. Let's see me film a bit from it. Lots of pictures that I took with these different settings, and then I'm gonna put that on my wall. I took a lot of file too because I took that picture I always do.
It's perfect. All right.
So that's it. So I was wrong. Sorry about the second moon thing. I didn't want to clickbait nobody. I thought myself it was the second moon. And then when I realized it was the size of a bus, it's just impossible to be seen with the naked eye. It's powerful to I understand that. So thanks again, everyone, for your input. But the thing is, we didn't come to a real conclusion of what it. So until somebody can like prove it, I think we have to remain thinking, asking us questions about it. That's what I see about it. Though I'm not done. I'm not done taking pictures. You can bet on that. These are not for the last pictures. We'll see. I'll take more. I'll keep on hunting. Come back. You'll see. I'll post a lot of stuff pretty soon. Don't hesitate to comment, like, and do what you gotta do.
So, like I said just prior to making the mistake and totally canceling the first live stream, which we'll delete when we're done, because all of the content in the first one is here, but we don't have all these glitches that are occurring and stuff like that. So I made a promise that though my channel is mostly Christian content, but to keep my brother's research, my brother's memory, my brother's legacy alive, and as well to have his community at least once a month be able to come join together and look at Bruce's content. But the only thing I can add to my channel would be to allow people that are from Bruce's community to come on, to literally not just stay in the chats, but to truly come on the channel and to share your thoughts on what you've been seeing, because astronomy and things like that are definitely not in my forte. Right, so
looks like a device with changing lights. That's why we see. That's why we see sacred geometry.
See, re-say it again. What did I say?
Devices with changing lights. That's why we see sacred geometry.
It's definitely, I mean, like, I think, harmonic frequencies and stuff like that. There's a frequency for sure to the universe. And I mean, science has even shown that certain harmonics and frequencies can have healing effects or negative effects. We have water molecules. I'll pop that on my YouTube, but you guys can look at water molecules changing to music and stuff like that. There was one study where people would be saying positive affirmations like love and good, loving kind of statements, and the water molecules would change into these beautiful snowflake looking kind of shapes. And then I hate you, I want you to, and all sorts of negative things. And you have this distorted kind of crystallization. And it's very scary if you think that we're about 70% water. Yeah. So, 70% of our literal weight is just water. And if that's the effect that they can see in the labs, imagine when we're talking to each other, how much it can affect, and it shows our connection, and so
what we mean when we vibes with somebody,
we use exactly, it's like on the same page, or the expression, I'm really close with the person. It has nothing to do with the kilometers that we are, how close we are right now. Is the similarity of these inner invisible qualities that, we like to say whatever is real is what we can measure and feel and see, but we all carry our inner life, our emotional, psychological, spiritual, some people. It's hidden from everybody, but you can't escape it. And if you have a inner state that is dark, you could be on any beach, you'll still be metaphorically in hell, kind of thing, so it's very cool.
Hello everyone.
All right, so I'm just going to go back to the chats. Say thank you to everybody. So Robert Crawford, Dan Raxla, Stephen A is in the house. Thanks a lot. Elias, the moderator. I'm gonna blame the fact that I completely ended the stream on the moderators. The moderators screwed up big time That's why I have to do this over again. It has nothing to do with me. We got LA is in the house. We got Elias. He's translating in English what mushamal means in French.
Means nosy person.
Yeah. I you know what? If it's blurry, it's still cutting off a bit, eh? Yeah, it is very blurry still. I mean, it might. I don't know. You're not, eh?
Oh, actually, I'm pretty.
And it looks like
Here.
here.
Interface.
It could be that.
All right. Well, let's do another live tomorrow, guys. I'm gonna bail on this one, and if you have any, just give me your 411, guys. We're still wondering what's going on with it. So please, thanks everyone for coming. I'll see you tomorrow. We're gonna do another one. Technical issues, but thank you very much, everyone.
All right, guys. So now that we're looking at our own screen, we're noticing that again it's blurry. Again, it's slow. Never happens. Never happened, guys. All right. It's because my channel's not used to having more than 8 people, so it's like it's freaking out. I think it is.
Yeah, look, it just came back on this one.
Yeah, so it might have been just, you know, streaming a different platform. I don't know.
Well, we're learning.
Yeah, live and learn. And actually, I'm going to take myself off of the Wi-Fi on my phone as well. Good, I'm off.
Maybe it's all the. Turn off your stew, maybe.
All right.
Is better?
I think so. Well, look here. It doesn't
Hi,
look
guys.
like it's screaming. Good. Let us know. We made some more adjustments. So let us know if finally it's improving. I don't care about the blurriness, but I care about the sound. I don't want the sound cutting off and on. Zabel really she likes when I say mushamal. It's my accent probably. Tencent is in the house. We got Nicole S. We got all the people that were on the first stream back now. Zabinator, got Darla Nalma and Elias, the moderator. No worries, Christine says. Thank you guys. LA is in the house too. We'll have her on shortly. We have Dan Rexla. Glad you did this. Yeah, I was going to say switch off your phones and devices. Yeah, exactly. So like I was saying was like this is me holding up to what I was saying about having something that's not related to my typical content, which is like Christianity and sometimes ketogenic diets and stuff like that. I try and do once a month something that that would interest Bruce's community, so we can all get together here once a month and remember Bruce. We're using Alex Fortier's content because it's related to stuff that the community would like, and if we don't have material next month, then you know maybe we can decide which video we can watch.
Yeah, I'm always I got a lot of stuff with all in my backup too.
That's it.
Stuff I haven't published yet.
Well, there you go. So that's perfect. Be the Arrow is as well with us this evening. Please give please give the stream a like and or a thumbs up, subscribe. All right. And again, please, so that we can have 35 people now in the community. Many people just like to chat in the community, which is completely fine. However, I don't want to, Xander and Alex don't want to miss any questions or statements or opinions that you wish to share. But at the same time, a busy chat like this, I can't just scroll through because it's a lot of wasted time just seeing my big nose kind of like looking at the comments for nothing. So please put everything in cap locks, okay? Yeah.
It's not screaming.
Yeah, and if any of the moderators can put back any of the links relevant to Xander, Alex, so that people can, go and support the other platforms. If you can do that, that would be greatly appreciated. So we got Brittany writing, it really looks like an eye. What do you each believe it to be? So my opinion is that it looks like almost, like a cell, right? You have the cell, but the dense nucleus, in the middle. I'm wondering, like, is that density in the middle is the substance of what we're looking at, and we're just seeing the halo through atmosphere. But it's every time I've looked at stars, it kind of looks like that. So that outer diameter, is that the whole thing? Let me pop this back up because I have an image of it. Share screen, entire screen. And I also find that my instinct is saying it's frequencies. Maybe it's not like like nuclear fusion, like our sun, that maybe it's like, you have nuclear fusion, fine, that's a sun, but the others are literally just like centers of frequency, harmonics, and stuff like that. I question that suns are stars, or
what's the difference, anyways, between the sun and the stars?
Well, they're saying that the sun is that we see is a star. It just happens to be close, and that, to my knowledge, something like when a sun is surrounded by a planetary system, when a star is surrounded by a planetary system, it becomes a sun.
Okay.
And something like, not all stars are suns, but all suns are stars. This is where I look like an idiot, because it's not into that, and it's unfortunate because I wanted to ask Bruce about these things. I wanted him to come because he didn't bring his telescope when he came here. He only brought the infrared camera. So when you're looking at the orbs and stuff like that, when Bruce is looking at these the light orbs and stuff like that, he was not using his telescope. He was just looking with the infrared, which is like, okay, so we can't see those orbs, those light orbs that are moving. We can't see them with our naked eye. We can't see them during the day either, I guess. But when we use infrared, which is just a light spectrum that our eye can't capture, then we see the reality of these things. So then they're immaterial. They're made of light. You know what I mean? Yeah. So our extraterrestrials, that people have the concept, they're just like whatever, maybe they're silicone based, maybe they're not carbon and nitrogen based, whatever, but they're still from within this physical universe to a certain extent. Maybe they're manipulating the physics because they know how to kind of do weird stuff with the fabric of space and time, kind of thing. But yeah, I know, but whatever Bruce was looking at that time, they were clearly not physical.
See, even the Tic Tac they filmed years ago. Yeah. When they analyzed the image, they saw that it had a field of light around it. It was surrounded by a field of light. Even physical beings that they filmed, that they caught, lots of them had they were like in a bubble of light around them. So is this how they can go faster than anything and turn on a dime? And
well, see, that's why it's interesting to have the in the back, just to have more options, is the interdimensional hypothesis. You have the extraterrestrial hypothesis, but many ufologists, and to be honest, I'm going to pop this up. I suggest that you guys interested in UAPs, les ovnis, and all that, to check Jacques Vallée, because this guy was talking about it being interdimensional in his conclusion, and he was secular. He wasn't because he had a bias because of religion and stuff like that. He came after years and years of investigation that it was not from this dimension or from this realm. It was manifestations that are able to come into our dimension, into
But
our realm.
how do you investigate that though?
Well,
Years and years of investigation. How can you investigate?
well, I think that's why they call it a hypothesis.
Yeah.
It's just like, how do we investigate if they're aliens yet? Like,
Yeah.
it's like we're just trying to piece together the information. I mean, there's a little bit of, I mean, even when we get into quantum physics and stuff like that, or quantum computers and stuff like that, to a large degree, they're not even sure what they're doing. They're trying to use the mathematics and the physics that we kind of do know and can calculate to make hypothesis, to make a, you know, like the multiverse too.
Theories and
theories. Yeah,
hypotheses.
exactly. Which is, you know, it's fine, because in science everything is always remaining as a hypothesis, because they always imply that the new evidence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
let me,
When they can prove it, this is already won the Nobels.
yeah, I know, exactly. Here.
I'm teetering on the edge of it being non-physical to maybe being I would say like you were saying before, the nucleus in the middle, it really looks like there is something in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be interdimensional and that's how it's coming through. And
My favorite, I must say, is when you can see an hexagon in it.
Mm-hmm.
You can clearly see a hexagon in it, and in the middle looks like there's a pyramid or something.
And like what makes it even kind of worse, you know, for me, is that everyone now, like, you know, we have a lot of conspiracy, right? Why? Well, the government, they deserve that. Like they've proven to be complete liars and unreliable, you know, completely. So, you know, we have you know, I guess distrust, but it's warranted, you know, so it leads to all sorts of
Pentagon, you know, agreed that UFOs do exist.
Yeah. Jacques Vallée basically said he thinks it's interdimensional. He as well thinks it's nefarious. He goes, if these are intelligent beings that are from a far away galaxy, and he goes, why are all the abduction, many of the abduction stories, they're being treated like almost like lab rats. You know, there's no anesthesia very often.
Yep.
It's very often about reproduction. Some of these abductions, it follows family lineage. They're making claims that they're impregnated. Then after they're no longer impregnated, they get abducted again, and then all of a sudden they show them this hybrid. This is your daughter, you know, and you can tell there's humanoid aspects to it, but the eyes aren't right and stuff like that.
Have you guys heard the theory about the gray aliens, that they're actually us from the future, and they're coming back and specifically abducting themselves to try and fix or grab their DNA from the past?
My brain just blew up.
And so interdimensional, you know, you could add now the religious terms to it. Fallen angels, angels and fallen angels and stuff like that. Watchers, exactly. So I do not think that the typical grays that we see, this is my hypothesis, okay, is that the whole biblical narrative is that there was a rebellion and fallen angels mated with daughters of men, okay? So we have there, exactly. So we have these hybrids, which we could say demigods, like Greek, you know what I mean? The Greek mythology.
Demi-watchers.
Yeah, exactly. So you end up having these alien human hybrids. They happen to be of very large stature back then. Then after, this is what corrupted the earth in the narrative. We'll say, you know, narrative. I'm not claiming absolutes, but the narrative of the Bible. And then after the flood, they say it happened again. And then that's where they went to the whole Canaan and where Palestine and Israel are.
Okay,
In the narrative, God says, Abraham, I'm going to settle you guys there. So all of the hybrids went there. And that's the whole like brutal conquest and stuff like that. that very often people are like, well, why did he choose these Israelites, but he was so ruthless with these other people? And that comes from ignorance by Christians who don't know that it's because they weren't really human. They were tainted. That's why he was so, ruthless with them. Now, when those Nephilim died, they were abominations in the narrative. So they didn't go to heaven. They didn't go to Hades, the underworld. They're unclean or evil spirits that roam the earth, disembodied, okay, craving to once again have flesh. So these possessions that we can have, hauntings, possessions of even heirlooms and furniture can get attached and stuff like that. So if possession of humans is possible, I think the fallen angels, having advanced technology, cloned these bodysuits. I think these grays that have no private parts. Okay. I think that these are just bodysuits so that the Nephilim can possess, and they can work with the fallen angels, their fathers again.
Nice.
Just thoughts, just throwing stuff out there.
It would make sense.
Yeah, because then in Revelation, John says something super weird, where he says, I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs. And if you look at the grays, frogs are amphibians. And what do frogs have? They have very large eyes most of the time, very small noses, and very small slits for mouths. And so this is where I'm going. That's the trajectory I've been headed. But for me, it is because I'm looking through it through my bias of the Bible as a Christian. But I want people to know that this interdimensional hypothesis is not from a religious perspective. These are ufologists that are world renowned. Like Jacques Vallée is a big one. And I have some books. So start looking for Alan Hynek, for Jacques Vallée.
I love Hynek.
and read their stuff, because they're giving you guys an alternate perspective of what's going to happen. Because most well-informed crazy Christians like myself are not denying any of the stuff that people are waiting for disclosure. We believe that they will come. And when you look at Independence Day, that big scene where there's clouds and rippling with thunder and smoke, and it's coming, right? Okay, over the city. That is an exact description of Ezekiel. They got the idea from Ezekiel. But what happens now is that when people see that happen, they go, you see, they were superstitious. It's not spiritual in nature. They thought it was spiritual, and they called them gods, but they're actually alien brothers from afar. So it's like, I'm just saying, which one, the chicken and the egg? Maybe the religious were just superstitious, and they said they're gods, and they're actually space brothers. But be careful and be open to, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe we're now saying,
if you're open to one idea, you have to be open to the other idea too.
Exactly. So the interdimensional hypothesis is an idea advanced by ufologists such as Jacques Vallée that says unidentified flying objects and related events involve visitation from other realities or other dimensions that actually coexist, but separately alongside our own. Because that's what's great about when you get into the different dimensions, they're all here. It's not a question of it's not even
somewhere else.
It's a question
on top of us.
It's a question of frequency. It's a frequency. So it's like me and you here. Well, we have a AM FM radio. We have all the Prime videos playing right now. We're floating in those things.
What are the frequencies we can't catch? Like I said to your brother once, if we didn't have any nose, we wouldn't even know that smell exists.
Yes.
So what are we missing?
Pick up on frequency.
To pick up on more that we're blind to. We will never get, because we're not equipped for that.
And not only that, is that the equipment that we have, our vision, our hearing, our smell, our taste, and our touch, are actually instrumentation, right? Sensory instrumentation that reduce reality. because if I saw every frequency of light, waveform of light, I wouldn't be able to see you.
Yep.
Because I'd see everything.
Yeah.
So for us to have a individualistic experience in this realm, this metaphysical realm that we find ourselves in, our apparatus needs to, in a way, reduce reality. So I listened to
Like a
Jackie's dog. It was going crazy with the chirping. Me, I wasn't even hearing this,
Yeah.
but the dog was going crazy
Yeah.
because they have heightened senses. So the dog. So if we heard every frequency, would there be no communication? So it's very interesting to think that it's like, no,
I think communication would go in a different way, maybe telepathic or yeah. That makes sense.
No,
This
exactly.
might be why some people can see ghosts, can see dead people.
Yeah.
It's not schizophrenia. It's not a sickness. It's just they're tuned into a different vibration than us.
Yeah, and which and I'm not a proponent of the Catholicism or the Vatican, but exorcisms and exorcists, they, even with that superstition and stuff like that, they always rule out mental illness. So they'll have these people go through psychiatric evaluation and stuff like that, because it's almost undescribable, the torment of somebody with schizophrenia that's seeing things and hearing things and receiving messages.
But are they really though? Because maybe they are.
Maybe they are.
We're labeling them schizophrenics when they really do see another frequency.
Yeah,
it's just our approach to it.
And I think schizo and phrenic, I might be wrong, but I think, you know how you look at the origin of words, and you know, you think of the sacrum bone, the coccyx. It's called a sacrum after the word sacred, because it's the last bone to disintegrate. It lasts the longest. And if you look into Eastern religion with the chakras, the Kundalini serpent, which I think is not a good idea. I did it, so I'm not just being, but you know, that's where it's getting the, you know, these words and stuff like that. What was the last word? Because that's not the word I wanted.
Phrenic.
Eh?
The phrenic.
Oh yeah. I'd have to look. So fact check me on this, but I think it's broken soul.
Okay.
Because before science started saying it's a mental illness with molecules and stuff.
It says broken though. Because I would have used broken. I would have said.
Yeah.
It's as if you're disconnected from your soul.
It's not broken. It's just on another frequency.
They're getting interference, their channel. Like we're supposed, because there's, you know, a lot of people, and I'm not opposed to that, even as a Christian, as consciousness, you know, it pervades, you know, consciousness. So that every thought, every insight, every revelation, all knowledge of man, it's all there already. But we have just like we're like a radio, and we tune into the station, and we get the information from that station. But if you're actually too perceptive, and maybe you're getting interference, then it ruins that person's life, because they're getting information. You know, it's like you're trying to listen to radio, but it's like you're getting somebody's CD at the same time that you're talking. You know. So here it says it is an alternative to the extraterrestrial hypothesis. IDH also holds that UFOs are a modern manifestation of a phenomenon that has occurred throughout recorded human history. All right, which in prior ages were ascribed as mythological or supernatural creatures. So there's also the paranormal researcher Brad Stiger that wrote, we are dealing with a multi-dimensional paraphysical phenomenon that is largely indigenous to planet Earth. I don't know how he knows that it's just around planet Earth there. It's we haven't even got to Mars
he's been
yet,
somewhere with, you know.
But yeah, exactly. Other ufologists, John Ankerberg. So these guys are all, you know, write these names down for further investigation. I'm just a signpost pointing the way. Just we're looking at ideas very superficially. But he advocates for also the interdimensional, I'll just say IDH, because it fits the explanations of UFOs as a spiritual phenomenon. The UFO phenomenon simply does not behave like extraterrestrial visitors. Well, that's his opinion, but I agree with it. So there's a good book to get, UFOs. It's Operation Trojan Horse, published in the 70s. John Keel linked UFOs to supernatural concepts such as spirits and demons. It developed a lot, these two in the 70s and 80s. Two more books. So UFO Contact with Cults. Some UFO proponents accepted the IDH because the distance between stars makes interstellar travel impractical using conventional means, and nobody has demonstrated an anti-gravity or faster than light travel hypothesis that could explain extraterrestrials. Because what the Air Force is capturing, if they are even silicone based, if they're created by the elements that we know in the periodic, you can't go like this and the G-force of and
exactly.
And if they're saying that they've recovered biologicals, like he had said, well, those guys, they seem to look like they're physical. You know, the one where he interviews a gray, I don't find it looks too convincing. And then it looks like it's choking, and they're
you know
that one.
Yeah, the black.
Well, if the guy,
it's all black in the back, so
you
don't know if somebody's holding a puppet or
exactly.
And then all of a sudden, somebody's appearing to clear its throat, and
that's it. So if he's able to, that definitely is implying this is a true footage. These grays are physical. Well, they're not doing what these OVNI are doing, that are capturing, because it's insane, you know. And I believe that yeah, for sure, like the pillbox, the little tic tac, that might be just technology, high tech technology.
Well,
you know,
like
from those beings.
Like I often say, when we see them in the sky, let's not yell aliens too fast.
No,
because they're like what they say, they're like hundreds of years away in advance from us.
Maybe
what they're building might be like Bob Lazard said. First time he saw a spaceship in Hangar, he was disappointed to see a sticker of an American flag on it. And he was so overwhelmed to finally see a UFO, and he saw what's that American flag? Oh, it was disappointing, but it's cool to know that they're so far advanced. But
and we tend to think that this realm is physical, spiritual realm. I do believe in ethereal realms and stuff like that too. There, but this idea that that angels or spiritual beings don't use technology. That's not true. It's like, look, they would fight with a shield and a sword when they would manifest as physical, and at least again biblical narrative, they just look like dudes. It says like they're indistinguishable. They have whatever kind of in their natural abode, that realm of spirit or whatever, they have some other kind of substance, but when they come in and want to manifest into our realm, it's physical. And obviously they seem to have the apparatus as well, you know.
Indeed.
And then Zeus came down and had intercourse, and then made a Hercules, a demigod, and of an amazing strength and stuff like that. And it's like I remember getting criticized. They're like, well, you're an atheist too, because there's about 3,000 gods and you don't believe in them. So we're just atheists and we believe in one extra one, the Bible, and it's like, I'm like, man, this guy has no idea how ridiculously crazy I am, because I believe in those mythological things. I believe there's reality to that. The demigods and stuff. I don't think the Greeks invented, not invented, but they advanced philosophy and rationality and logic, and you're going to tell me that these guys were worshiping these it's like I think they were. I don't think just because humans lived thousands of years ago or something, they're stupid.
No.
Look at what we're doing.
That's what we've been taught, though.
Yeah.
That the humans, they built. Come on, they freaking built all those temples with just the marteau. Come on, man. You can see some cathedrals. You can see have been built right inside the mountains,
carved out of the mountain,
carved out inside the mountain. Yeah. So it's
and the megalith, like these huge structures. Let me go over here. Current slide. This is.
Gotta put my glasses for this.
I'm trying to get to the mega
like
structures.
you were saying before, for how the angels or demons will manifest.
Yeah.
I believe that, like you were saying, back in the time, they would manifest shield and sword. Now,
yeah,
it would have to be with today's time, and it would be technological. So they would make themselves look like a spaceship, or.
So the throne of God has wheels inside wheels. That okay. So for the Christian perspective, like God Himself goes around with a chariot. You know, that's where they got Chariot of the Gods, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah. And I watched all those things too, because I'm like, it's just a different perspective. It's like they're looking at all of this stuff, and they're coming with extraterrestrial. And a lot of them are like, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like the whole ancient astronaut and stuff, like I used all that information because they go back, and that's where I learned about the technologies that they had, Atlantis. I believe in all of that. If we go here, so this here is the Watchers or the Nephilim. So the first book of Enoch is where it goes into more details, because the Bible just talks in Genesis 6. They came down, they made it, and potro detail and stuff. But then you get more information with the first book of Enoch. And then there's another book called the Book of Yasher with a J, Jasher. And it says not only did they do this inter-hybrid, inter-mating, because they basically what we're doing now, DNA, genetics, CRISPR technology, it says they were sinning against the animals, the birds, the fish. Like, what do you mean by sinning? I think that they were creating these chimeras and stuff like that. And it's a no-no. I guess
have you noticed how much apes look like us? Mammoth look like elephants, but if you take all their hair, if you take a gorilla, take all the hair, they look like us. Take a mammoth, take all the hair. You take a wild pig, take all the hair. It's a pig. Isn't it funny? Where are we apes, or what did they?
Well, I mean, that's what they want to say. That I don't believe in evolution.
Me neither.
Yeah, evolution. Why?
Dogs would have been talking. All animals would have been talking, or something.
If we were product of evolution, shouldn't we have like fur? Because we live in the north, we live in the cold. We should have adapted to our environment. And if we have evolved from the apes, why are there still humans and apes? There's no more.
I'm still waiting for that one ape to pop out a human because of a genetic.
What happened to the in-betweeners? We should still be living with them, because if we're evolution, why would it stop?
Yeah, and on top of it, it doesn't answer the one question. Evolution, Darwinian evolution starts when life is already created. It's how life is evolving, you know. But the biogenesis, you know, how did non-life create life and stuff like that? It still doesn't answer that, and it's normal. Like it's a good theory, you know. It's like he looks and he's like sees like the finches. That's what Darwin saw, and the different finches. And there is evolution. It's just not macro evolution. You know, it's speciation, species. What the theory that creation or intelligent design says is that within these early body systems, in the genetic code, there is all of these variation possibilities, and that what we're seeing actually is every time we have a species, it's dropping information. It's actually losing information, and then you know, but that the proto, you know, canine, the proto animals had within their own information, DNA, all of the possible variations and stuff like that. Here you see the spider goat. So we're playing with fire here, you know.
Spider goat.
So they
Oh, yeah, it produces the silk, no, of the
that's
spider.
it. Yeah. So spider silk is extremely strong.
Yeah.
It's just the spiders are small, but the protein that creates the silk, they splice that in so that these goats have a protein and they can extract the protein and they can make Kevlar with it and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so you're milking spider webs.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
You know, and this is where this is the book of Yasher. It says, and their judges and rulers. Now, this word is Elohim, and Elohim at the start is it's used as God sometimes. Okay, not his personal name, but Elohim just means a creature that their natural habitat is in the other dimension, in the spiritual dimension. So yes, let's say Yahweh God is an Elohim because he's spirit. That's what they say, but the Elohims are not all Yahweh. So all of these spirit creations, the cherubim, the archangels, whatever you want that are, you know, the DMT and stuff like that people are mapping out the DMT landscape because people are taking DMT and seeing the same people. Well, these are Elohims and stuff like that. And it translates the Elohim, these spirits, as judges and rulers, further showing that in antiquity, all of these various gods and stuff like that were not based on just fiction. They were based on something tangible. And these were judges and rulers. They ruled over the nations and stuff like that. And I'll show you these skulls, the skulls that are elongated. And then we'll go look at the Egyptians.
And they don't have the
parietal
mark.
plates.
Yeah,
exactly. They're different. So they're, and obviously science wants nothing to do with publishing those kind of things because that goes directly against evolution.
The way they tell us that they just put headbands, that it's just headbands.
Yeah,
they
that's
just wrap their heads.
No, but
to
you
make
would
it in that
see the line there.
wrapping.
But they don't have
that.
Mm.
And not only that is why were cultures doing headboarding, which is when the baby is born, they would bind it to imitate the gods, to imitate the rulers, just like people imitate, you know, higher up. This is what they're doing. They're genetic.
Is that Plum Island or?
So what they're doing is they're putting stem cells inside of this thing and growing an ear on the back of the mouse for, let's say, somebody who
reconstruction or
that's it. And I know it's like, yeah, that's not evil, but it's like they're going to use this technology that's totally going to probably corrupt humanity. It's going to be in the name of health and reducing suffering, but we know that they're going to use it in a possibly nefarious way. You know,
the first day they they clone the sheep. The first thing everybody thought said, "Yeah, well, when are they going to clone a human?" That's everybody thought of that. Yeah. What's the name of that sheep there? And they said,
but we all know.
That's exactly what I said. Is well, you know what they're going to do next if they're not doing it already.
You know, so these guys, and on top of it, you don't have a million gods and stuff like that in antiquity, but you do have like thousands. Okay, I guess. But the other thing is that it takes a long time because then you have to go into the history of those religions and the Anunnaki. It's that sometimes the same characters are being called different names throughout. So when John is talking to the 7 churches in Asia, which is current Turkey, he talks to one of the churches and says where the throne of Satan is. Well, that throne of Satan was a throne of Zeus in Pergamum. Now, it's funny because you had Obama, one of his big speeches, they remade the throne of Zeus.
Oh, yeah.
And there's multiple places where you'll see the throne of Zeus. And it's like, so why are they, it's like, why do you guys know about that? Like, you know, so it's weird. It's like,
it's
you know,
coincidence?
You know, and it's dangerous. It's like, you know, making here, you know, the Chinese and stuff like that, they're going to use that CRISPR technology that's literally like just editing your genes splicing it out, putting something else in, and they're going to make super soldiers, you know. And if your DNA becomes at one point so changed, when is it that you're technically not human?
Yeah.
Because that the Bible narrative is the flood happened because all flesh had become corrupted. And then it says that Noah was perfect in his generations. Well, when you go to the Greek word for it, it means genealogy. So he was perfect. He was untainted. He was an untainted human. So that's why he was taken.
And he was the only one.
Him and possibly the 8 people on the boat. You know,
A small crowd.
and then they did a second incursion after the flood, but those giants seemed less giant. They weren't as potent as the first wave. Now the thing is that I hear a lot of Christians saying the return of the Nephilim, and they're looking for the return of giants, and it's like, guys, yes, they happen to be giants, true, but Nephilim just means angel human hybrids. So now I tie that into the abduction phenomena and the testimonies of people abducted, and I go, so when they get impregnated and then after they get abducted again and then they show this is your daughter, it's like, that's a Nephilim because it's not giant. So they want the Nephilim to look exactly like humans.
Wouldn't that go with the narrative of Sasquatch?
I think
that Sasquatch could be like hiding Nephilim.
Maybe the
hiding
Sasquatch
survivor,
comes in and out.
Surviving is a Nephilim. Hiding,
Because if you look at genealogy, for demonology and stuff, there are some demons that are just huge hairy demons. So maybe Bigfoot is, or maybe not. Maybe he's just a species of ape that is just still.
So when I was a kid, since I was a kid, I was thinking about that. You know, what about if Sasquatch was just a hiding giant? He evolved. He got hair. He got
Exactly.
Well, there's the Kandahar giant too.
Yes, I was going to mention.
You want to talk about that? I don't want to be the only one. So if you know
military?
about it, tell them about that.
Military.
Yeah, that the American military, that's the reason why they went into Afghanistan or Iraq, was because they found out that they were hiding this giant in the mountains. So they sent up a team, and supposedly when they reached the mouth of the cave, they can smell something. Then they heard the giant running towards them, and he speared one of the soldiers, and then they started fighting it and took it down or something like that. But
I remember a
9,
testimony
10 feet
from a
tall.
soldier. He was like overwhelmed with emotions, saying, "I got involved in the military. That wasn't it though. That's not what I wanted to do." Because they said we literally murdered him. They shot him in the face, and it was just thinking of all that knowledge that just was literally taken away. Was it was spoiled, you know? All the you could have learned so much about it.
Yep.
Want to make peace, you know? Communicate.
And then
it could have been his way of communication, running out with a spear, but no.
Well, he was afraid because he knows they're military. They're not here to be funny. They're not here to make friends. So he immediately went into defensive mode and probably was alone of protecting maybe his family.
Yeah.
So he sacrificed himself.
They said that the locals were feeding him sheep, and that's how he was being fed, and stay there. Like that's your place. We'll feed you. Stay there.
Yeah.
Now he imagine the military was coming.
Imagine the calorie count that somebody of that stature
imagine the
requires.
Security or the help you can get to, like a farmer getting a help from a
and then after, see, this is why this was hidden, because I have in this presentation all of the New York Times giant bones, 12 feet, 9 feet, 16 feet, and so that the Smithsonian, they collected it. And either they did, I highly doubt they destroyed it, but it's no longer available, right?
Like a Betsa's ball, and
because
as soon as they put their hands on it,
that's it, you know. So these are the Indians, the Sitikai, and these are the red-haired giants, often with 6 fingers, 6 toes, double rows of teeth.
The story just told the legend that he had red hair and a red beard.
That's it, right? So this is what I love about it. It's like it all is tying and
Yeah, yeah,
pulling, you know, together
The
into
puzzle
a
is
very
getting pretty clear now.
strong theory, you know. So this is the one in the book of Yasher. And they began to sin against birds, beasts, and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. So I ask the question, well, how do you sin against animals? Like, besides eating them, like, that's not sinning. Where, you know, it's like, no, they sinned because they were cross breeding and stuff like that. Now, this might just be a symbol, because this is the chimera of the Greeks. It has like a goat coming out of the side, snake tail, but it does represent, you know, genetic manipulation. And there was also a lot of bestiality that was as well occurring and stuff like that in a lot of these pagan cultures. And it says that these were the men of renown, men of legends. These are claims, like, obviously can't prove it, but now, because we no longer have the skeletons, but anywhere, this is a 6 foot, just to put in perspective, you know. Wow. Look, I have trouble believing, let's say up here, but right up to 15 feet, I could believe that.
Yeah.
You know, I could believe 19, but imagine a 6 foot, imagine now somebody along this side, okay, the megaliths look a lot less impractical.
Yeah,
because of how much more strength, you know. It's not like if you're 6 and then you go to 12, you have double strength. It's exponential. The bone density is different. The amount of, you know, it's just
and
crazy.
It makes sense. It takes 6 of those guys to bring one block up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And prior to, you know, early on here, before science really got dogmatic about the, you know, pushing evolution, they had this in a museum. I have one with Queen Elizabeth. Imagine this giant, you know. And these are all from New York Times, and you can see it's from like the 1856. It's hard to see, but, you know, century ago. And yeah, they were just posting like and a lot of them maybe were just, you know, culturally Christian, so them it didn't make it was like, oh yeah, Goliath is a giant. Like, we're finding giants. There was giants back in the day. Now it seems ludicrous to the modern man.
Did you see the Sardinian giants?
No.
Sardinia, right next to Corsica, south of Corsica, La Sardaigne. They found even on ancient aliens, they talked about it. They found statues. Which I think, if I remember, were like 6,000 years old. There were statues of giants. But not only were statues of giants, there were robots. Clearly not human. They were robots. And it's as funny as it may sound, one of the robots looks almost identical to C-3PO. He's got the same single mouth, same eyes and everything. And it's like 6,000 years old. Yeah. So where does that come from? Who built that? Are they the human build these with what technology, or did those robots come from another world? Yeah. How did they come here? Yeah. Was it? I don't know.
And like it's you know, this is what I believe. There's the good side and the bad side, and we're the chess game. You know, like
peons.
You know, we're the soil, and they're fighting for the soil. You know, like they're fighting for you know, the land. But I believe that the good side has revealed, again, going through just my bias of I believe the Bible. So I'm like, oh, I believe that the good guy wrote a book, let us know how things started, where we are, and where we're headed. Okay. Yeah. Now, if there is Lucifer or whatever and stuff like that, let's say the bad guy from the Christian perspective, he's not the good guy, then he has to reveal his plan. So, but he doesn't have to write a book and say this is the other holy book. He goes, no. He goes, I have much, because Lucifer is very smart as well. He's like, no, entertainment. I don't have to say it's real. I'll make fiction, and as long as I show my plan, it's there. Music, you know. So a lot of the what we say, like, hey, that movie from 50 years ago, look, it's real now. It's because it's predictive programming. Yeah. It's a spiritual war, but it cannot be hidden. You have to let it in plain view. This is the plan, And that's why it looks, and it's ramping up, like now the predictive, it's not like 50 years later. Now it's like you see something in a movie and like 5 years later, it's like
Did Nostradamus predict those things, or he knew they were coming and it was just setting us up?
I don't know much the quatrains and stuff like that, because for him they were, I find, a bit vague. At least it was hard to
Somebody said he was a Mason too, or something.
It's possible.
I heard that he was a Mason, so a lot of his stuff wasn't. It was a lot of fear mongering, or
look at this here, so
exactly.
but it's like it just makes sense. It's like, if these are real skulls, okay, that have way more mass, okay, way bigger brains, like you said, parietal skull. This one you can see it really good. There's this like skull plate that is just the front part, and sutures. So this is not human, but science will not acknowledge any of these. So these are in a museum somewhere in I think Paracas. So you got the headboarding that are imitating, and I thought this was maybe artistic license for these Egyptians, but all of these damn Egyptians have that, and not necessarily the Egyptians that were citizens.
What about the neurological?
Well, they have way more brain mass.
No, but to convert your skull like that, doesn't that hurt your brain too?
Well, I
think
this
from a young age it shapes, since it's all.
Well,
it's not all.
I don't know. This I definitely would be. This is a headboarding one. This, I think, is no. They were born like that.
Yeah.
Like I think that these
Poor mom.
could be down the road, the Nephilim and stuff like that. But they were copying something that they wanted to emulate, and then you look at these little buggers.
I'm sorry to say, but
Look at these.
must have been hard to deliver.
Look at these small guys.
Those heads.
We're like a dart.
Oh, I gotta go back.
Shout out to all the ladies.
Yeah, we should go back soon to the show. Where's the pointer options? And look at these little guys. So you got these tiny minuscule little guys, but look, their heads are elongated, and they're wearing hats. But why are their hats? Again, it's because they're elongated. So they put the skull of Akhenaten, and you see, it's like maybe this is not artistic license. Queen Nefertiti, look at her head. It's not human. Gilgamesh. So we have the epic of Gilgamesh, which is Gilgamesh more Mesopotamia and Sumerian and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't he considered a type?
Well, yeah, he was. I think he was again a demigod, like half human, half god. Look at the size of him.
Those Beelzebub, Gilgamesh, the titans of the world.
Yeah, and you see tiny people, and you can see. So it seems like the tiny people don't have the elongated heads. Giants.
Do you think it's a genetic that we lost in time, that our head became like that? We should all be like that? But since the time where it's been genetically removed from us.
I wouldn't even be able to know, because I don't trust archaeology.
Because why don't we all have those elongated head then?
Yeah. This here, we don't necessarily, gets a little off topic there and stuff, but I was just showing from the discovery that the idea that the whole world was flooded is not that far-fetched, because even to this day, there's science is starting to understand that there's more water underground than all the seas and oceans that are up there, and we have flood stories that go from Assyrian, Persian, Greece, Italy, all the way.
But all history of all people in the world, they have a flood.
Yes,
they all speak about a flood.
Yeah.
Every religion, everyone on every past.
And a lot of Christians, when they talk about, let's say, Noah's flood and stuff like that, what they often say about the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it says the fountains, but it says the fountains of the deep broke open, and then all that subterranean water was
Released,
there,
yeah.
and when you look, you know, the in the Atlantic, the mid oceanic rift, like or the it looks like a baseball. It's like ripped all across.
Yeah.
I think that's a remnant of that flood, and that's why all of the Atlantis, all of the high technology that these people were using is still probably buried under millions of
Or what if
feet of earth or something.
What if Atlantis just flew away and brought all their technology with them?
There
They could have been a big ship too. They just landed here, did what they have to do, and then when
do you ever see the eye of the is it the eye of Sahara or something?
Yeah, I'll show you.
I'll pop it up.
Oh yeah, the rings in the
rings inside the rings.
It looks a lot.
Yeah, and
there's even a YouTuber that went there
and
went physically.
It
there.
looks like the description that the Greeks spoke about. Here, I'll pop it up here. The eye.
Oui, il y a un YouTuber qui est allé directement sur place avec la caméra toute.
That, and then after we can look at shape of Atlantis.
It's Morocco.
Here, so
There's your
present
Atlantis.
screen.
Yeah. But it's still being debated.
It's
still being debated. A lot of people are saying,
Yeah.
no, that's a natural formation.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, people that want to doubt and stuff like that, like you could show them, like, you know, sometimes if you're stuck in your head there, it's like there's nothing you can show. You could like
here's one that you can look up later on. If you look up Mud Fossil University.
Okay.
This guy called Roger.
Wait, I'll do it right now.
He talks about the mud floods. We had giant mud floods that covered everything with mud, and that's how we've lost and resets happen and this and that. And he teeters on the edge of Christianity and not. And he shows that in Morocco, I'll show you on my phone, but we can put up pictures later. He shows that this is the biblical. What was the dragon that they call the name?
In a biblical dragon, Leviathan.
Leviathan.
Yeah, that's the sea monster.
The sea monster. Yes.
Yeah.
He shows it as sitting on Morocco, right there, as if that's the fish's head, body, tail.
Oh, okay, yeah, je comprends.
Fin.
Yeah.
But up here is another creature that stopped it. Now, if you go and look closer, it almost looks like the head is here.
Yeah.
And you have the neck.
Yeah.
So he said that he claims that this is a dragon. And that the dragon spewed something onto this giant fish. This is what he spewed.
So it's literally drawn onto the land there. Or
the land is those creatures. It turned into those creatures. So if the flood happened, covered them.
See the spew.
And
and you can see the fish's scales too.
So when it comes to the dinosaurs, one of the theories that evolutionists have is that that the dinosaurs evolved from birds. Okay, right? You've heard of this?
Yeah.
Okay, I said to myself, no. I said, I think like in the Bible, one of them, God is praising in Job, and he talks about behemoth. It's a description of a brontosaurus, and they're plant eaters.
Yeah.
Okay, so this amazing monstrous plant eater and stuff like that. But then you have like, you know, the raptors and the little armed T-Rexes, right? Now he said, if you look at a bird and you look at the T-Rex, they're almost exactly the same.
The ostrich, has arms exactly.
So
like
he goes, so what if those arms are just like usual birds or bats? What if those arms weren't like this? They were like this, and he had wings. Then that T-Rex has wings, and he could be a dragon.
Yeah.
Because the word terrible lizard dinosaur, it was created like I think 1850s or something.
Well, when we see fossilized like feathers and stuff like that, because they've seen a lot. They found a lot of fossilized.
And everything's
T-Rex,
huge.
But
Everything's huge.
Yeah.
Everything is freaking huge. Like a beaver is the size of a car.
Yeah,
That
the
doesn't
giant-
make sense
the
for
giant
evolution.
sloths. Yeah.
All of that must be hidden. Why was everything bigger and stronger, and now we're evolving into better stuff, but we're weaker and we're smaller? Even comparing Neanderthal, the bone density and the skull density, Neanderthals were way stronger.
Compact is better.
So,
Yeah.
but this is the eye, they call it the eye of the Sahara. And for interest's sake, again, we're touching on a lot of things, but superficially. But if you go here and you go the shape of Atlantis, then you kind of say, wow, that is impressive, because to me, it looks like the eye of Sahara. Food for thought. I don't know if it's true. There's mud fossils. I don't want to get a strike. So let's just kind of look this way.
The first one, the dragon up there.
This one?
Yeah.
Dragon of Africa. Maybe we'll be able to see. And even huge mountains, they're saying like those are actually huge trees.
Yeah.
And stuff. I'm
Yeah,
open to that too.
Devil's Tower in the
Devil's
States.
Tower. That's
And it's
the
hard to
first-
see this one, though.
That's the first that comes to mind, but they've seen a lot of pictures that actually made sense. Yeah, they talk about Brazil with the Vikings, the giant tree of life.
Yeah. And look at this
And
one.
we all know that wood will turn to stone after
When it's
a long
compressed
length of
under,
yeah, exactly.
No, I've seen mud fossils really of the rock. You cut it, and it's like they're like, this is actually a heart. But then when you break the rock, there's actually holes
see all
like
the holes in
les
it.
valves.
He shows
Armies
the mud fossil guy. He shows hands, feet.
What's he called though?
fingertips.
It's just So guys, go to on YouTube. Yeah. So go to Mud Fossil University on YouTube if you are interested in these sorts of things. This was a nice capture too.
Yeah, this is in Italy. They actually
this wasn't engraved, or
no, this is the one that Italy says was engraved in stone.
Okay.
But what Roger claims is that this is
It
real.
Okay.
Yeah, and that it was actually covered during a flood, and his hair is full of mud, his beard is full of mud, and you could actually kind of tell that it was like something on it.
Oh, gotta show the people.
If you
Yeah,
right
so
here
the
on the
mud
left-
is on top here on his head.
yeah, and on the leg right there.
Here,
If you
mud.
show the yellowish down towards the like here.
Oh yeah, there.
That he says that's rust, so that's blood leaving the body.
Yeah, iron.
So it was
Wow.
compressed.
Wow.
So he was compressed there, and then Italy decided to chisel into his back and make a stairway into his body and remove all the insides.
Wow.
But yeah,
Wow.
his claim is that this was an actual giant that was petrified and
And
in
this
place.
disproves evolution, and I don't think that I think that they just added billions of years, because if you add enough time, then you could say that, well, evolution will work if you magically add billions of years. It's like, I don't think so. I think that this whole humanity experience and stuff like that is tens of thousands of years. Hundreds of thousands, even that I'm saying. You know why? Because they are finding, and science is acknowledging this, but now they're trying to like redefine a lot of stuff. There are T-Rexes, okay, that have flexible tissue still present on it.
live tissue.
Hemoglobin,
Oh, yeah.
collagen.
They got DNA then.
Yeah, so then it might be too degraded, but probably not to be able to get the DNA and to
Just
recreate
hope
it.
they're not doing. They made 6
probably will.
movies to prove us it's a bad idea. So
Yeah,
don't
Jurassic
do it.
Park.
Yeah,
You know,
they
exactly.
make 6 of them to tell us it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Don't play with that.
So what they're saying is that T-Rexes are 200 million years old, and collagen at very, very big max can last 90,000 years, let's say 100,000 years. So if there's hemoglobin, if there's flexible vessels, come on.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that this is 200 million years ago. They're just throwing that in.
Were they using carbon dating? Because that's been proven to be.
They don't even
worst-
need
the
to.
worst of the
They
thing.
just, it's flexible tissue and stuff. So I can show you here.
T-Rexes. Yes, and maybe like next month, you guys, if you come over, we can do our research over the month and then just have a huge presentation just on that.
And you look at that statue you just showed.
Yeah,
It's so well made. How could they do so?
Yeah.
It's like I've seen recently
Underneath
some
the beard,
pictures of
underneath the hair.
a I think it was a deity in her gown, and the just the flow of the gown, the way it was sculpted, it was too soft, too real to be made with chisels, and I don't believe that. It's,
I saw a video a couple of years ago where people were claiming that those statues are actually real people that they petrified.
Yeah, exactly.
On purpose, because it's too detailed.
I would believe that story more than somebody telling me, "Oh, I sculpted that."
Yeah,
I would believe more that these people have been petrified. How can you can see veins in their arms, you can see the details. How can you do that?
see, they're struggling. Controversial T-Rex soft tissue finally explained. They're trying to say all these weird things, but look, see, remember, T-Rex related to chickens. You know, and I don't believe that
I wouldn't dare call a T-Rex a chicken though.
Yeah, no, exactly, but it's ridiculous. Imagine to relate both of them, but it's because I actually think again that just go to King Arthur and stuff like that. He was talking about slaying dragons and stuff like that, and it makes perfect sense that the wings could have disintegrated and been ripped apart. And when they put together these skeletons and stuff like that, there's a lot of clay and stuff that they're adding and stuff like that. They're making some anatomical adjustments sometimes, you know.
Well, doesn't mean either that the T-Rex flew. Like a chicken might have been just able to.
It could have.
Just might have been able to literally fly, but just like do what chicken.
And I'll be even more gullible and silly, using just my imagination like a 9-year-old, is the fact that when they talk about it being fire breathing, it's like, well, you look at the bones and they have huge cavities, right? You know, like sinuses and stuff like that. Now you have the is it called a bombardier? There is a beetle that produces it's not fire, but it is super heated gas that explodes
it's
out
like
of it.
A black hole. It creates. They said something like a energy explosion.
It's just chemicals. It's just bio.
Like said, that chamber where the chemicals mix is so precise that it's.
Isn't there called a cowboy crab or something like that? They do that with their pinches.
Well,
their pinches.
Yeah,
it stuns the enemy.
So what I'm thinking is they could maybe the T-Rex produced certain molecules that were able to, when they were in a mix, and he was able to expel fire.
They are spitting.
It's far-fetched there.
They're spitting cobras. They're spitting.
But anyways, the T-Rex here. Is there's soft tissue, and a thigh bone from a 70 million year old T-Rex has given fossil experts an unexpected treasure: well-preserved soft tissue. I am sorry, no. Okay, soft tissue does not happen. Many people throw carcasses there away just to keep the skeleton let it disintegrate. The stretchy material, which may contain the remnants of blood vessels and cells, could shed light on how dinosaur bodies work. So, it's like the science community, there is a difference between science and scientism. And, unfortunately, many people don't realize that humans humans are kind of religious animals. And if you're always going to embarquer to a world where we can't help, because we're able to ponder the universe and in infinity, it's just natural that we will always be analyzing to create a worldview to look through. And many people, I believe in science. It's like, wow, you know what? Like, so do you know the scientists? Did you actually read the article? So it's like they have blind faith in science as if it's uncorruptible. They've put science on a pedestal as if it's a religion.
The kind of people that read the headlines.
It's dangerous.
They only read the headlines.
Exactly, because science is being used now
to manipulate us on all aspects: nutritional science, pharmaceutical science, science. When science itself is not a living entity, it's a method. You have a question, you have a method, and you come to a conclusion with your results, and then other people are able to look at and redo it over and over. It's not living. Science is just a method, and if you use that method, I think it cannot lead to corruption. It can only lead to advance. But we know that universities, look at the universities are doing. Why are people, against their own country? This is all propaganda. This is science. Science has ruined us.
Oh yeah.
Well, a lot of people, when you give them a little power, it goes to their head.
That's it.
And they decide they become selfish.
Yep. That's why Elon Musk, Neuralink and stuff like that. Like they just implanted into the first human, and the guy is
playing video games.
That's it. And it's like, I understand. Like I'd be like, wow, if people are quadriplegic and literally they're able to put a neural link into their brain so that just with their thoughts they can communicate, I'm all for that.
Absolutely.
I don't think that
to help somebody
But-
get better.
I don't want the
But-
Bluetooth though.
but that's the problem. Will it be limited to that? Before you know
You
it,
start
it'll
getting
be
commercials in your head when you're sleeping.
They can literally control your body. They'll tap into you and do whatever they
it's
want.
the gate.
to
It's the
murder.
gateway to once AI is like, look at how the internet, just with Google search, humans, all we had was maybe the Encyclopedia Britannica that we purchased from the guy who knocks at the door, whatever's in the local library, and that's all the literature. That's how we knew the world. A few books. Now we have at our fingertip, like basically the internet that collected the World Wide Web is connecting us. But now the next step is to put that in our brains, and that's where the devil kind of
Did you ever
comes
see
in.
Johnny Mnemonic?
Transhumanism.
It rings a bell. Maybe I should rewatch
Keanu
it.
Reeves, he gets it loaded all this information to his brain, and now everybody wants to kill him to get
And
what's
then
inside his
what
brain.
happened? And people, and this is what we call the transhumanism, like to merge technology, man and machine together. That's called transhumanism. And the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and Noah Yuval Harari, the historian that's kind of the mouthpiece for that, and he writes books. That's all he's preaching. He's like a transhumanism prophet, and he's talking about the brains and the bodies will be the new commodities. We won't be upgrading our phones anymore. We'll be upgrading our minds and our bodies, he says. And he goes, humans are just biological
Without our
algorithms.
consent, you'll be upgrading while you sleep. You wake up
Exactly.
and go, it upgraded by itself.
So now you don't want your child, let's say, to have all the knowledge in the world accessed into the brain, so that you're a collective hive, a mind, which now why a lot of you'll see in a lot of the occult Freemason a hive. They use the beehive as the hive mind. But we're not adding, like, we're just, the hive mind decides what we think, and stuff like that. But what they're going to do, my fear is that, well, now you're going to have two forms of humans: the original humans that, because they have the worldview of evolution, then what does evolution do? The new mutation is more beneficial, so the old must die. They can no longer reproduce, and the new beneficial one reproduces. So when we have a two-tiered system of humans, and they believe in evolution, and they don't believe in individual rights, they believe in whatever is good for the collective, then that's a genocidal perspective.
Exactly.
And that's the danger, is that humans do have morality. We do have a moral compass. Obviously, if you keep on smashing it by doing stuff, sometimes people can have no more morality and become like really, horrible people, bad parents and stuff like that. But most people have that, moral compass. But if you have a completely flawed foundation of what reality is, then you will be able to make a moral calculation that is evil.
Exactly.
Which is where I think we were headed. Let's go to the comments a little bit. Hauser said, "What direction in the sky was this visible?" That's for you.
It was southeast. It was September 30th.
Okay. And Christine says about the frozen water. Now you can put a picture close to the water and freeze it, and you will see the image. So we can also go back to. I'm trying to find. The water molecule. So I'll just put water molecule changes.
That's Holder that asked that question.
I guess he's kind of like which direction, south, east, north.
The moon was supposed to be there that night, and there was no moon. The moon like disappeared for 10 days. The moon was supposed to be there that night, and there was the moon. There was that star. And it was clearly not supposed to be there.
So we started the conversation about humans being 70% water, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So our weight is 70% of how heavy we are is just the water that we have. Now, Dr. Emoto over here, it says positive words and intentions can have a transformative effect on water molecules, as demonstrated by Dr. Emoto's affirmations and emotions. It forms intricate, symmetrical, and aesthetically pleasing crystals. Uplifting, positive, and encouraging words create beautiful, balanced, and symmetric crystals, while destructive, hateful, and evil words have opposite effects. Dr. Emoto's study suggests that thoughts, feelings, and words can affect the molecular structure of water. And if you're literally just changing the structure within your intentions, where the motives and stuff like that, then it's like, well, maybe praying for someone's well-being does have a positive effect, where, to be honest, even as a Christian, it's like, praying, but it's like, well, do I have to be close to change the water molecule? Or is my intention directed to somebody over, in somewhere else in Scotland, a friend, and I'm having positive affirmations? Am I changing that 70% water? Because it's obviously seen. So let's look at the actual images, which, in a non-religious way, people say, like, I'm sending you positive vibes.
Yeah.
So either way, so this is what it looks like. So you have thank you, wisdom, truth, eternal, angel, I love you, peace, you fool. On the bottom, look at how they form. You make me sick, evil. I just changed all your water there because I said polluted water before prayer, polluted water after prayer. Oh, I didn't even know that. I was just kind of thinking of prayer and stuff like that, and we know that people who meditate as well, which is a form of, I think, what do you want to say? Like, prayer is directed intentions, right? A directed intention. So, meditation as well. Oh my God, like, stress about this, stress about that. And then it's like you're killing yourself, with stress. And then to be able to detach yourself and say, I'm not my thoughts, my emotions. I'm not my narrative, the story I'm telling in my head, because we look through reality darkly. I am the conscious awareness in which all of these mental shapes and discussions are coming. That's the real me, the awareness in which everything comes. And we have these emotions that come into our awareness, and sometimes it's overwhelming. We act it out, and we forget that if it comes up, if we just wait and disconnect our identity from it and say, no, I'm way deeper than what my mental brain is telling me, this narrative, it'll go down. But we're so attached to the story we say in our head, and I'm just talking to myself, trying to remind myself right now, because we were waiting for our taxes. The government owed us $11,000, and the federal was perfect, and the provincial says that we owe 8,000. So I went on a freak fest because we've been stressed about stuff, and I was waiting for it, and I lost my moshamau, but it's like I was connected to the story in my head.
Yeah.
Did it change anything? No. And that's Buddhism. That's why I'm a Christian now, but I love Buddhism.
Is Buddhism a religion?
I don't consider it.
Arguments that it's not. It's just a way of life. It's
yeah. I think that Siddhartha Gautama wasn't a god. He was a prince in a palace.
Yeah.
And quick story, but you can read Siddhartha. It's a book. So he was a prince, and the queen and the king, his parents wanted to shield him from the realities of suffering outside. They wanted to keep him in a bubble in a palace. Eventually, obviously, he gets to a certain age and he wants to fly the coop, so he goes out and he sees death. And imagine this is in India and stuff like that. So he sees the suffering, he sees death, he sees all of this darkness, and it affected him, and he wanted. He went on a spiritual journey to find a way of liberating yourself from this suffering. So he took a very ascetic approach, an extreme approach. All physicality is evil kind of thing. So no eating, just no talking, no moving, all these ascetic extreme practices of mortifying the flesh. And he didn't get anywhere. So at one point he saw, this is where they say under the lotus tree or the Buddha tree or whatever, under a tree, he was contemplating, and maybe he was still doing his ascetic thing. And he saw a boat going by, and they were playing a string instrument. And it just dawned on him. He goes, if I'm an instrument, I want to play beautiful music. If I tighten those strings too much, they're going to snap. And he said, if I loosen them, it'll sound horrible. Yeah. So he came to the understanding of the moderate and middle path, which was, and you can't say that that's not truth. And then he started to understand that a lot of our suffering is actually just mental dialogue that we're saying, the worry, the resentments, the stories that we're saying. So then he started teaching that we are the awareness in which the mental narrative occurs, and we should detach from that, and we should just acknowledge it, and that will bring inner peace. And so basically, we're driving ourselves crazy. Yeah. Mark Twain said it very well. He goes, "My life is full of disasters, most of them that never happen." And it's right. It's true.
Love Mark Twain.
So I went down that path. My thing is that I don't know, I wasn't able to become enlightened. I believed it with all my heart, and I still believe it, because you can't say that's not true. What Siddhartha said. Buddha just meant enlightened, and but then it became, the Buddha, reincarnations of Buddha shrine, and humans attached a lot more religiosity to it. But the Bible says, "Be still and know I am God," and Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough problems. Tomorrow will take care of itself. I'll be more open. Instead of saying God, the universe will only give you enough strength to deal with the present moment, not with possible things that you don't know will happen or not. Exactly. And that's healthy way. So I can't say that Buddhism is not good. But I see it as a psychology or something. Okay, let's go back to the chats. We got to do this once a month, because we start with something, but look at where we've gone everywhere, and it's amazing.
That would be like the first topic. What do we talk about today?
All right. Okay, guys. So don't forget, now we're going to the chats. We will only be stopping and acknowledging people that have cap locks. I will say hello if I notice somebody that's new. Obviously, super chats, I will acknowledge that as well. My brother, I used to always pop on, and at the end, and I'd do a super chat, and I'd like I'd write something, and he'd, okay, guys, bye bye. I gave him $2 for nothing.
Yeah, I saw that a few times.
I want it back.
Yeah. I remember telling him on on X. I would go on, hey, this guy sent you $2, you missed it. Hey, this guy sent you missed it. And he would check his X message like once a month. So by the time you would check it, he would go, you think it's too late to say thank you? Like, it kind of is.
Well, with the YouTube studio, there is a section that keeps, I don't know how far it goes back there because I'm just starting to get super chats, but you can go and do, let's say, a video that's 5 minutes. Hey guys, just want to do a video just to make sure that I didn't miss. And then you can say thank you and you can tag those people.
Yeah.
And that makes, this is the only thing that I want to do is I want more connection as much as possible. So, doing like Jackie, I was driving, her dog crazy because there was the beeping,
Yeah, we all
I'm sure she appreciate that I did a little community post that was funny.
I saw it. I liked
just
it
for her.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, this guy is not just like, I'm not just viewing, like the interaction is what creates the magic.
It was a nice post, by the way. I loved it.
Yeah.
Your face with the batteries and the smoke detector. It was awesome.
Jeff Benoit has funny posts too.
Yeah.
Jeff Benoit had recently won with outer space.
Yeah,
is Jeff Benoit live, like with
He's
music, and he's like coming. He's like, and Bruce used to do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So thank you to
I love it when Bruce left.
Elas
He would
Barnes.
just stand up and then he would just speak back in the camera alone with his freaking face. It was awesome.
We have Zabel that didn't even say anything, just sent me a $3 super sticker. Thank you very much. Christine, I think that we've dealt with the blurriness, so that is very good. So this is very early, probably where there were still issues. Bia, thank you. So I'm just
Bonjour Bia, je t'aime.
All right, I'm just going to say the names, not thank you every time. If I'm pointing out your names, it's because we see you, and I'll pop up very quickly. I want everybody that took the time to communicate to be acknowledged. So Brittany said it's a lot better after we logged off. So there was something that was happening there.
I think the interference with our phones.
Yeah.
Might have probably did something that.
Well, it's good because I thought that we wouldn't be able to fit ourselves all dans l'écran, but from now on, this is a perfect location to do it. We got Jules from Oregon, a faithful member of this tiny little channel. Nicole S. So we got Stephen A. Tanya. We got Anne. Hey, Anne, how are you? Anne sent my granddaughter she's from Scotland. There was more. It was like a Mary Poppins bag, like she had a book. She had like clothing. I sent her a video, but she's very loving. Is it Android? You know what? Right there. Yeah. Okay.
If you were living under Tesla, we would never have to charge our batteries.
Yeah, exactly. We have Darla Lama sending $5. Thank you, Mommy. That's my mother, by the way. It's fun that we don't have to keep that a secret. So Bruce had kept Darla Lama a secret just because of the trolls and stuff like that. He didn't want my mom to get harassed and stuff like that. So that's why he didn't really. Yeah.
It was a good job because nobody noticed.
No, I mean it's like, hey, Darla Lama's like never misses Jason or Bruce's stream. It's like you could have tried to like start figuring it out. We got Maria Ekman in the house, Tencent in the house. We got Jackie that says, I heard only 2 to 5% of our oceans have been surveyed. Sean Ray's show had a guy talking about a completely unexplored. I know we're trying to get to like Mars, and it's like we haven't even explored the greatest depths.
There's someone that said a smart question, I think recently. He said, if the center of the Earth is molten lava, how come the bottom of the oceans are so cold? I thought it was a legit question though, because yeah, it's probably because of the lack of light. But there are internal combustion. So why is it so cold? Is it because the darkness takes over the heat, or
I don't know. Like I remember very
pressure,
smart guy, very knowledgeable and careful with his speech was Garland Farms, JD from Garland Farms channel. Please subscribe to his channel as well. And geez, I just forgot what was the topic, because
the bottom of the oceans being so cold while the center of the earth is molten lava.
Oh, yeah, but I forget because he had said something and it just completely, I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. But one of the, he was saying like, that's a theory. He goes, if you investigate how deep humans have been able to get there, we haven't gone very deep, and stuff like that. I think there probably is a core because of the volcanoes, and stuff like that. And there are underground volcanoes and stuff like that. But I think possibly this theory that sometimes the tectonic plates go like this underneath. During earthquake and all this stuff. And
the Japanese people know about that.
Yeah, and so what happened is theoretically during the flood, the fountains of the deep primarily burst open. So what do you think happened? That first rift sent like, a tsunamis, kind of like waves all around the globe. And that's why everywhere it's seashells and clams. And
so the Mount Everest thing.
Okay, so it was like a first thing, but then after there was like, shocks, aftershock, and it just kept on going. So there was multiple, and every time this happened, it would lay mud. And that's why there's kind of even in the United States, this section where it's like they have it all mapped up. They're all there, the dinosaurs. And so obviously the animals or the organisms able to go, at higher ground as it was starting to keep on flooding. So now they're on top of the clams, and it actually, you could look and say very simple fish first, and then other kind of marine life. But the seashells and clams were the first. Well, there they are. They're on the bottom. And then after amphibians, and then after the land animals. So it looks like we started from clams, and then we got to there. And I think that maybe all that technology from Atlantis and all the stuff that maybe were more advanced than us with computers and TVs, whatever. Well, it's all just went into the lava. It's just been disintegrated because
we'll never see any remnants.
I don't think so. But we know that on top of mountains,
how many civilizations we're missing, and we will never be able to find because we are so far gone. It could have been here like 400,000 or 400 million years ago, and it's been literally wiped. You can't even find anything anymore. So what don't we know?
Exactly.
That's interesting.
No, it's crazy.
We're arguing for the color of our skin and giants and
it's
giants.
It's funny, because what do they say about like how long have humans been on Earth technically? They say,
see, talking about the giants, for humans. A lot of people don't believe in giants, right?
Right.
For the small people, we are giants. So if small people exist, why can't giants exist? We could have been just the middleman here. See, so if we see small people, Lilliput people too. There's small. There was a pygmy people who were really small. There's a whole lineage of Chinese person known to be extremely small.
I know a large part of. Sorry, I cut you up. Did you have your?
No, I was just saying. To those people, we're giants.
Yeah.
So how we could have giants too, and people say, "Oh, it's impossible. It's impossible." But
like a lot of the I have a book. It's called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. So a lot of it has to be with also nutritional deficiencies and stuff like that. So when mankind were more hunters and gatherers and stuff like that, eating the animal fat, eating the organs, eating the bones, all of it and stuff like that. Basically, nose to tail and stuff like that. We were thriving. And then after when the agricultural revolution, maybe 12,000 years ago, which
allowed the population. This is where you see civilizations really springing up, because we are no more nomadic. We were in one location trying to make crops and stuff like that, and we think that that's a good thing. It gave excess calories, allowed populations to expand because they had calories, but what they were eating was nutritionally deficient, and it would break down the teeth, so they got sicker. So you see during the tribal periods, right at the the agricultural revolution, a decrease in stature, decrease in bones. We actually got sicker. And what are they trying to feed us now? Basically,
Eat the
corn,
bugs.
soy.
Eat the bugs. Pretty soon. Eat your bugs, people.
A bunch of grains, when in reality, it's like, no, you eat a liver that's fresh, or thymus gland and stuff like that. They actually have more vitamin C than citrus. So all of the vitamins are found actually in the animal. You could have one cow and you can survive on just a cow. On top of it, there's milk, there's the organs. In our culture,
more than one cow.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I used to debate with vegans and say, do you acknowledge that your mass-produced diet does unfortunately kill tiny rodents that are in the cornfields, the poisonings from orchards? You got to protect the fruits, and stuff like that. We know that there's pest control. Just guys get paid to go on four-wheelers and just the wild boars and stuff, just and shoot them around. And I said, so your intention is to, as much as possible, minimize the suffering of animals. I said, so would you admit that maybe 3, 4, 5 animals suffer for your diet? So most of them, they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's unavoidable. So, okay. I said, so would you be okay saying suffering is duration multiplied by intensity? Sounds reasonable,
Well said,
right? So I said, the orchard animal that eats the anticoagulation and slowly, gets anticoagulated, starts hemorrhaging, starts bleeding to death, falls there, gets eaten by the next animal. So they're analyzing wildlife and they're seeing there's 5th, 6th, 7th generation poisonings. They see that there's like 400 agents that are contaminated in these animals. So
what about us?
That one animal suffered, a long duration, and I would say higher intensity. Now I said I'm just going to eat primarily a carnivorous diet. So I come and the pig is raised outside. They're grass-fed cows. I want 1 lamb, 1 cow, and 1 pig. Okay, and full of chickens in my backyard, and I don't kill the chickens. I just, they lay eggs until you go one day and they're dead. That's what happens every time we've done it. So the chickens are going to lay eggs anyways. They're free range, no suffering there. In fact, we're shepherding the animals, protecting them from the wild, making sure they have water, food, and protection. They have a better life. But when I decide it's time to kill that pig, it's quick. It's a sharp blade. That thing squeals once and it's already bled out. And the cow, same thing. And I can feed my my family of 4 probably for over a year. I said, how much suffering? So I said, it's more vegan to eat a strictly carnivorous diet, to no longer go to the grocery store, because we're talking about probably a few minutes of suffering for my whole diet for a year. So I said, I'm more compassionate than the vegans.
Like the death toll is lesser if you eat meat.
Yeah, because what they've done is they've created a unnatural system of huge feedlot, animals and stuff like that. And they also, humans think that's everywhere now. That's not true. You go to Australia, you go to New Zealand, it's all grass-fed. It depends on the terrain. And the United States was just full of cowboy ranchers and stuff like that, and what's happening is they still exist, but these big Cargill, these big meat packing industries and stuff like that, they develop this. They're stuck. They don't move. They're pumping hormones, stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I agree, that's bad. it's very simple to fix that system. Stop it, throw all the cows back into the grass, let them crap and pee in the soil, let them there for, they have to move around or else they'll eat too much of the grasslands. And then after you switch them, now you put corn the next year, and then you switch all your cows over on the other side, and then you slaughter them, you feed them. It's part of the natural cycle. The water, you collect it from rainwater, you rebuild topsoil.
Oh, well, rainwater is not free anymore.
No.
I heard it belongs to the government now. It's illegal.
Everything, right?
The rain belongs to the government.
So they think, they're saying here approximately 300,000 years. I don't believe that, because we only can go as far as maybe Mesopotamia. You know, when I remember at college, it's funny, when you're younger, I didn't absorb anything. I didn't care about learning about Mesopotamia.
If I could
now,
go back to school
I
nowadays,
would go back because I want to know. But
argue with the teacher.
But it's funny. It's like when we started to be able to do agriculture, the civilizations started to pop up, and Mesopotamia is what, I might be wrong, fact check me, but 12,000 years old. And when again you go to this historical, what I think a large part of the Old Testament is just a lot of documentation of the culture of the Israelites. It seems like everything seemed to pop up very close to the Sumerians, Anunnaki and stuff like that. So it's like, how come we don't have evidence of even 60,000-year-old civilizations? We only start seeing stuff about the Mesopotamia. So,
but it's hard. Didn't they prove that carbon dating was flawed recently? Somebody was saying something about that.
Yeah, carbon dating, of course, it is flawed. They can test something that was recently killed.
There was a 300 million year old hammer.
I think that carbon dating can be accurate to tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Okay. Because think of it, you need a calibration. You need something that is that certain age, and then after you can look at the decay rate, and then after you can look at something that's say 10,000, something 5,000, and then you can compare the decay rate of the carbon decay of the C14 from, let's say, 10,000, and then you go, oh, there's less at 5,000, and you say that decay rate is consistent, and then you can look at the amount and say, oh, it's this much. So as long as we're calibrating C14 carbon dating with things that we know, it can be pretty accurate. Okay. But when you're trying to project things into millions of years old, that's just fantasy, because they're making a assumption and presupposition that at the start of the universe or creation or all of this, that the decay rates were constant. Because they can only measure one decay rate. He goes, that's constant.
Doesn't mean it was constant, though.
It doesn't, of course not. So it has its purpose, but and again, it's so corrupt that if the date matches the worldview, it's published. If it's not, then it's a contamination. So it's like, okay, so just going down again, crazy, very generous, Crazy Music Space Jam. That's Elias Valhalla, his other channel where he does.
Bruce told me you have to say a T when there's two wells, I think, something like that. Elias explique donc ça. C'est pour ça que vous êtes toujours Elias Valhalla. Apparently, you have to pronounce the T.
I didn't even know there was a T. I'm going to look the next time.
I even told Bruce, what do you say Valhalla? It's Valhalla. He said, nope. See, Elias explained it to him that I think when there's two L's, you have to pronounce a T or something like that. Pretty sure. Because
that's like a Viking, Norse.
Yeah.
It's like the paradise that they go to, right? When they die in battle.
Exactly. If they die in battle.
Yeah.
Now, what do they do nowadays? Does Valhalla still exist? Because I don't see much Viking battles anymore.
We also going down here. I'm just gonna share his channel here. That's Crazy Music Space Jam, and obviously, guys, for example, Alias and stuff like that. The community also jumps around, right? You know, it's not like Bruce's community is just going to come to Jason's Christian channel once in a while. The community are going to still remain friends, and one person's doing content. I'm sure when Elias is jamming with some guitars, there's going to be like tons of people.
Yep. Can't wait.
And for my mom, especially, who is so used to being moderating with Bruce and the community and interacting, those first 2 days, you know, because like we found out that Bruce had passed away, I gave that 5-minute video that I plastered saying there would be a stream, that like 6,500 people are still finding out.
Yeah, I know. I think it was 2 days ago. I saw a short of your brother.
Yeah.
And I just replied, rest in peace, my brother, I miss you.
Yeah.
And somebody answered, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it's, oh man, do I have a
shot?
Yeah, brace for impact, my friend, because I got some bad news for you.
No,
But,
exactly. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
I guess right now,
and I hate it always sucks to tell no he's dead, you know.
Yeah,
it sucks to be the one.
Why?
You don't want to be the bringer of bad news. But,
yeah, I know exactly. But like that first stream, it helped me, that's for sure. And then the French one, so my mom, it helped her immensely. It was because it would have been too much of a shock all of a sudden, like no more community, you know, and stuff like that. So like the community, the outpouring, I mean, over $500 of money, close to $1,000 if you take the super chats that were there during those, the people that e-transferred.
What I like about that community, I've never seen, and I've seen a lot of communities on YouTube, is the chemistry. We have such an amazing chemistry. I think everybody gets along. Of course, we get the occasional troll, but we usually have fun with them. So, but the chemistry within other people respecting others' opinion, people looking forward for others' opinions and stuff. I love that. It's, when do we fight? When are there fights? Nobody's arguing.
No,
everybody's. I love that community.
My community was about I'm not joking, about 8 people that were regular and stuff, because I was doing just primarily Christian content and stuff. I was happy with 8 people, you know, and then I'd get like 36, 90, but for me, I was like, look, like if I had 30 people in front, and I'm obviously, I believe it, you know, so it's very important. It's something that, and I find value and pleasure in it and stuff like that. So I was happy with just 36, you know. But
I know what you mean.
This is overwhelming, you know.
I know what you mean with TikTok. It's happening to me too.
Yeah,
that's goosey. What are the numbers?
We have. I'm just going to continue saying hi to Dennis Martinez. Robert says at least one murder to keep the secret is enough to create theories. And somebody was talking about which look, everyone, it has passed through their head at Bruce's passing at 49, especially you know, he had lost over 100 pounds. He looked great. I remember he used to complain about eye issues and stuff like that. His eyes were very dark, you know, and he admitted, so I'll say it, he was like 305 pounds. When he lost the weight and stuff like that, and he did that on his own, I made sure, because he was doing the fasting, I made sure that it was safe, because
fasting can be dangerous.
Anything, medicine can help, but too much can kill you too. It can be a poison, you know. So but he was drinking the water, he was taking the electrolytes, he was taking the vitamins. So I know he was doing that in a safe way. And but yeah, you know, so he didn't look sick when he passed away. He's 49. So, and what he was revealing, which goes counter.
He was a whistleblower.
Yeah, it's like everyone's thought, like somebody
he's got some threats before too. He's got threatened before. So.
No, so you know, so
what I didn't like though is learning that the door was not locked.
Yeah, that's it. That
raised a red flag for me. I'm not pointing the finger or anything, but
look, there's a reason why it's not even our choice for the autopsy. It is suspicious. Somebody that isn't known, like if he was already diagnosed with melanoma or something, when we find him, it's like it probably be the family decision there. But unfortunately, he was under 50. The scene was treated like a crime scene. The pictures, the CSI van, you know, crime scene investigation, all the stuff there. I don't know what they did to Bruce. I'm sure they went under his nail. They checked for puncture mark, everything, you know, just like you see in the movies.
Yeah.
And we were very, it was very hard because I work at a hospital. I see death all the time and stuff like that. But it's odd, when it's not in a hospital setting, you know. And obviously it's my brother. So it's
I
much.
worked at the Jewish General for a couple of years, and I was working security in the basement for the morgue.
Yeah, you know. So obviously we wanted to be there with Bruce. The cop was super nice because technically the detective hadn't arrived, so you're not supposed to be allowed in. But just because the door is, when you open the door, the bathroom is not far. It's like right there. So we literally, without touching, walked in. It was very important to Bruce. We're here. You know, I'm here with you. And like I said, like he looked like he did something in the bathroom. He was in his pajamas. His pants were up. He wasn't like Elvis, and he must did something and just fell back, and then slid down on his bum and passed away sitting on the floor with his head, you know, on the wall somewhat.
Oh yeah.
With like he passed out backwards and slipped down, and so there was no, like, his body wasn't found forward as if something was happening medically, or he was trying to get somewhere and didn't make it to the phone. It looked like it was sudden. The position is not suspicious. And his mouth wasn't even like open, because some people, when they go through a dying process, they go through what they call agonal breathing, which is named after agony. Okay. And it's these ineffective breaths where you go, but there's no air passing. It's just the brainstem. That's it. And sometimes you'll pass away with the mouth open. The eyes could be open. Bruce's mouth was closed. His eyes were closed, and his head slightly to the side. So, and we were very happy that we were allowed to at least, you know, we all put our hand, like, can you open the bag kind of thing on his way out, to say, you know,
touch him one last time.
It was very, because I believe that the body might hover a certain amount of time. I think
there's I don't know, I had some neighbors, I think they were Haitian, but I'm not sure what their father died, and it was like December. They left their front door open for a month, never closed the door, even if it was freezing cold outside. They never closed the door, because when I asked them why aren't you closing the door, they said because when somebody dies in our community, leave the door open so they can come in and out as they wish, because if they see a closed doors, and they could just not come and just go. So we leave the door open to make it understand it's free to come and go. And
I think culturally, even Judaism, Jews and stuff like that, it's like it's a seven-day process or something, and they cover mirrors, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, it was very important that we were able to you know, to touch him, and so that was it, you know. So the autopsy, in case people have not looked at the initial videos that I did, they said it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year.
That's long.
It's long. Well, it's already done there. I bet you it's just, there's a lot of people dying, man. It's like constant death that's happening, you know. People are dropping like flies. So like they do the procedure, and I'm sure that the coroners, I bet you they do it like the doctors, about they have a phone, they record everything. Then that recording has to be put into paper, and then that paper has to go over here, down, and then finally to get to public access. So it can be extremely long, but yeah, there's a certain little point.
It's sad for the families waiting for answers, though. Like you guys, like us all, we're just waiting. And it's not like, bottom line, I don't really want to know. You know, he's gone. His time was up.
It'll irk me if it is called sudden death syndrome. You know, like as if like sudden cardiac death syndrome. That seems
for adults.
That seems to be happening more often since 2019 for a reason. And Bruce did not get that, so don't think that that's a possible thing. He was really against that. So don't worry about that.
Let's not say the word.
But we have to be realistic as well. my wife, her father had a massive heart attack at 43, went into cardiac arrest at the hospital and was resuscitated. But if he would have passed away at 43, massive heart attack.
Wow.
So Bruce being 305 pounds, okay, if we would have found him at 305 pounds, and I wouldn't have been surprised, because personally I was worried about his health. You know, he smoked cigarettes since he was 14.
He was rough on his body too. He would barely sleep, always doing something.
Yeah.
He would never sleep.
No, that's it. So, you know, we'll find out if Bruce did too much fasting, for example.
Yeah.
That's going to be ruled out. They'll be able to say, unfortunately, it was just electrolyte imbalance, and he did his potassium or something was too low, and there was ketones in his body, because when you fast, you enter ketosis. They'll know if his body was in ketosis. They would have said somebody in ketosis with low levels of electrolytes means somebody wasn't drinking, wasn't eating, and had an arrhythmia because of electrolytes.
Yeah.
So all of this is important. Did he do something silly with fasting and he went overboard? We'll know. But if it is something like we call we don't know, you know, it happens, then yeah, that's suspicious.
He was pretty hard on his body.
Yeah.
I can testify, because he was camping.
Yeah.
His tent, he never found a post. He got the wrong post, so he just threw his tent on the ground, and he would sleep in his car.
Yeah.
Barely an hour, maybe 2 hours a night.
Yeah.
We all offered him our tents.
Yeah.
Even Pat offered him his trailer.
Yeah.
He had a trailer.
Me and my brother are like that. Our brains just
he didn't want, and
doesn't stop.
At least I even told Bruce, when we're asleep, just go home. You're 10 minutes away. Just go home and come back in the morning.
No.
He would not. He was so happy to see us.
Yeah.
Even if we were going to sleep, he didn't want to leave, because he was so overwhelmed to have everybody here. I think he just wanted to stay in the moment.
Even when he came the year before and after, I went to bed because we were partying, you know. And then finally, midnight or something, midnight or 1, I went to bed, and he all of a sudden you see that after I went to bed, he makes a whole big long stream about till 7 in the morning, you know. So yeah, like, you know,
like I told Zender the other day, earlier today, I told him Bruce did a live for about 2 hours, and 5 minutes after I called him, because I had something to talk about him, talk about to him, and we spoke for 4 hours. And I said to Bruce, I said, do you realize, Bruce, you just did a live of 2 hours, and we beat that by 2 hours? He started laughing. I said, it's almost midnight. I got to let you go now.
Yeah.
He was like an open box of everything. You could talk about him, about tires or UFOs, and he had so much to say. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, I think we're an amazing show. We have to, for sure, well, at least because I'm worrying about my platform and stuff like that, but we have to do this once a month, man. Like, because look at the amount of stuff and
we just went through.
Like, we have to do, like, let's say exactly one, like, for hours on mud fossils.
One topic per.
Yeah. Well, it's okay if we start, because this is just natural and like people.
It's the first time we meet too. It's like
no, this you guys are my co-pilots, man, for sure. Like
wingmans.
So Tencent, you know, he's mentioning, yes, exactly, the Anunnaki. So it's like, that's, people have the two hypotheses, you know, are the Anunnaki kind of aliens, you know, that came and seeded humanity.
Created us.
I think it's called panspermia.
Yeah.
You know,
well, panspermia, isn't it? When they
I'll check.
They send a meteor that has DNA in it, and it's going to crash.
Yeah, it could be that too.
A system. It's going to start life because of these.
But you know, the basic idea of the movie Prometheus. You know, that they put the guy drinks that thing and his DNA goes, and that's how it starts and stuff.
Weird but cool movie.
But anyways, the basic thing is. Either way, even if you're like, no, I believe it's totally extraterrestrial, it's like, well, just be cautious that they're not necessarily good, you know. They may be nefarious, and there may be good ones in, because if we're talking my internet, well, there's also good angels there. It's not the bad angels. Like
there's also the angels that you can't define if they're good or bad, because the UFO that was just happened to be here. You know, you never know, they'd be traveling and come upon our planet. You wouldn't even know, are they good or bad, and they don't even know if they would be good or bad to us. But it can even be good, come here, spread a disease that kills us all without even knowing it, you know, because they just touched us, we're all gonna die, and that's not what they wanted to do. So
no, exactly,
that's the thing you have to watch out, because if you make contact, we could kill them with our like the movie Tom Cruise, the War of the World. They die
just
by a virus, you know. It could happen to us too. They could give us something that's totally unknown to our body that would freak out and kill us all.
No, like I mean, that one video of me seeing the infrared there, like I was like, oh my God, you know, I was like, one going from the left to the middle. Like I was super excited. But I have always told Bruce, don't communicate with it. You don't open. I said, because you don't know the origins, you don't know, and stuff like that. So and he did, you know. I was, and me, you know, like I was, you know, I believe it's the fallen angel hypothesis here, and that they're light orbs, and that we see in biblical the narrative, they refer to angels symbolically as stars. All the stars sang, which tells me again, when we were looking at your initial light that you captured, and the talking about frequency. Well, what is singing? Singing is it's a frequency. So I think that we just don't have the systems to capture the harmonics of the universe. Perhaps
churches before healing centers. I've read about the bell. You would just lay down in a church, and the bell vibration would heal you, and they would get the cymatic of the bells, the cymatic, and they would print it in front of the church. This is why you get all those big vitraux. That big window you get in front of a church is this the cymatic of the resonance of the bell that's inside there. And
it could be the pyramids as well. The pyramids, they were machines.
But some say they were power plants. They got some water that would tap underneath them and would create a vibration and energy, which would be fed to all the
free energy or something.
The obelisks were like electric poles, because they're mostly created of quartz, which is like extremely conductive. And the energy from the pyramids would, and if they found ley lines all over the world that would connect every obelisk, and they're straight lines. Which would that be an energy grid gave power to the entire planet.
I've heard that like a lot of these megalithics as well as pyramids, you know, in the Mayans, they have their pyramids. It's like weird, you guys have pyramids over there and here, and supposedly you never were in contact, right?
They're all across the world, but yet their constructions are similar.
And it matches, let's say, the belt of Orion.
That's and
in the first book of Enoch, because Enoch was close and walked with God, and in Enoch, the first book, and in the Bible, it says that he never even died. He was just taken up. He was raptured, you know, and stuff like that. But the fallen angels regret after creating this, and they wanted Enoch to be like the mediator with God, and said like we apologize, and God said, no, you guys, like there's no apology, like you guys are screwed.
What says it, they don't to say it.
And so in the Bible, it's the same place where the Titans in the Greek mythology, who were giants, are still in Tartarus. So that's Hades, is the common grave. There's a good section and a bad section, pleasant and a paradise, and a not so happy place. But then there is the deepest pit is Tartarus, and that's where the fallen angels are in the Bible. But in the Greeks, they say it's the Titans. So it's like, wow, like it's, look at the, you know, the similarities. So I think that that the fallen angels were building heavenly things because they remembered what they were and their abode, but they, for some reason, were trying to mimic their home that they knew they would never return to.
Did you ever notice too how much you can even look at the pyramids from the satellite view, or you look at Pumapunku, and they look like circuit boards. Have you ever noticed that their formation with the path? They look like electronic circuit boards with the chips and. Have you ever noticed? Am I the only one?
No, I know.
No.
When you zoom out of cities too, it just looks like a computer board.
Yeah, that's it. So was that a coincidence? Could that mean these temples could have been energized, like with the comment s'appelle le métal liquide? They got these in a thermometer.
Mercury.
Mercury. Yeah. Could they feel like streets full of mercury and just connect all this together? Of course, we cannot even approach Mercury because it will kill us. But there was another breed.
There's a form of mercury in our fillings. Damn it.
Yeah, that's scary.
Then you wonder why, like we have mental illness.
They pull out the wisdom tooth. Why are they called wisdom tooth? Because it's a vein connected to the inner brain, and when you pull that tooth, you cut. And it's not good.
The book Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. It's basically a Canadian dentist around like 1930s or something, maybe a little bit earlier, because modernity hadn't attained the whole world. So there are many cultures, Swiss in the Alps, that had they were still following their culture traditions and stuff like that, and the foods that they ate. They only had a few staples, like sometimes 3 different foods they survived on. They thrived, and no cavities. They'd have like 0.5%.
Was that manna? The manna they ate?
In the Bible, that was some like miraculous kind of a bread, manna, that would appear, and they grind it and stuff like that.
But there's even recipes nowadays of drinks they would use when the ancient times.
It's possible.
The manna drinks,
But what I mean is that they didn't need dentists.
No,
it was
you could live off the manna. You don't even need anything else. You could just live off.
I'm going to get the book for other people because we are being poisoned, as you know.
Right.
Oh well. Well, where's the crickets, guys? Come on, let me see some crickets. It's our turn now.
This book. If there's one book to know the truth, it's this one. Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. And I do plan on doing videos specifically of each chapter. If you look at my older videos, not on maybe on live, but initially I wasn't using StreamYard, so I was actually just doing videos, downloading them.
Crickets.
Yeah, and so I do a few chapters and stuff like that to show them. It's like it's primarily animal food, and they ate everything, and they would have like rye. So they'd have rye bread. You know, some of them survived like just on cheese and rye bread. I think that was in the Swiss Alps, and they'd have very small amount of
survive off of cheese and bread.
I look at the in Kenya, they're the Maasai. Completely carnivorous, and all they do is their herds, and they let their cows graze and stuff like that, and they survive on the milk. And when the animal stops producing milk, it's getting less productive. Then they'll kill it, but they'll eat everything. You know,
so a nice way to respect the animal for what it gives you, and it's part of you now. Yep.
And then they didn't waste anything. They kept they kept the skin, everything.
That gets turned into furs, into clothing and stuff like that.
Now we just eat like muscle meat because we're not
even aware of half
it's like, I even have trouble with liver, unfortunately. Like I want to like it, you know.
There's some stuff we could eat that we're not even used to, like eggs. The shell of the egg can be grounded out into a powder.
They didn't waste anything. Exactly.
It's great nutrition. You put that powder into, pasta sauce or whatever, and you won't even know that you're eating it. It's a great source of calcium and stuff like that.
Yep, 100%. Just scrolling.
Okay, yet again, it comes out of a chicken's butt, but it's still good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Elias, this culture was all around the world, the old equator. Yeah, Brian Forster. Actually, if I go back to my presentation, you'll see we have Brian Forster as well. You can go on YouTube and check that out. Flood story. So that was at 7:30. So we're still an hour away. Okay, guys, we're trying to acknowledge people in the chat. Again, if you want any of us to acknowledge what you're writing and you're not just chatting amongst yourself, do like Stephen here, and I can easily scroll and see in cap locks so that it's more interactive. If not, like I said, you're going to see me going like this. There's nobody.
Oh, but like I'm doing right now.
That's it. He goes, yes, the earth is the Nephilim. Pink salt mines look like flesh. So this was probably when we're talking about mud fossils and stuff like that, which we will, I think maybe that could be the next time we get together at my house. Yep. We can do that. And
we'll end up like Joe Rogan with a table and a crew behind.
Everybody's got their clothes on.
Are we talking too loud? Or?
Everybody's got their clothes on. It's good sign. I've got to go around and pick up Shia from work.
She's sleeping on?
No, I have her with me.
Okay.
She was watching me decorate because you know how I get carried away. So,
you get carried away? I do 5-hour streams. I get carried away.
Yeah, wants to decorate for Halloween.
It's almost like embarrassing when I finish. I'm like, and I can't believe it. Yes, dear.
I know we're not. So.
Yeah, no, you're like, ah. No, it's like you finish and you're like, oh, I just did 5 hours straight.
I'm sorry, mods. I'm sorry, mods.
It's like you enjoy it while you're doing it, and then you're like,
all the mods are sleeping on their computer.
Oh yeah. Well, it's because for me, I used to like this one guy. He was called Primal Edge Health. Forget what his name was. Anyways, it used to be called Primal Edge Health, and he'd have very, very long streams. But for me, I would listen to it in the car like a podcast, you know, and yeah, I would a 45-minute drive, and then next time, you know, I would listen to these very long because it was interesting. So I didn't mind. It's like a Joe Rogan. He does these insanely long things, but people, it's like, well, of course you're not going to listen to it straight, but you jump back, you know, and stuff like that.
I sometimes do though.
Yeah.
There's some podcasts he lasts like for 3 hours. I could listen in one take.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, he's I think he's the best interviewer in the world. I don't know who said that to him. He said that was a great journalist that said to Joe Rogan, "You're the best interviewer in the world." And Joe Rogan said, "What are you talking about? You are." And he replied to Joe, "I don't have 1 billion views. Never had, never will. Yeah. You are the best." And Joe, it's dawned on him and saying, wow, you got 1 billion views, buddy. Yeah. You are the best.
Well, see, that's the problem with the government, eh? They don't like that. They don't like the fact that like maybe the older generation are still looking at CTV news or looking at the, you know, the mainstream news, but people don't trust it, and people will take it like what what's that guy that talks really fast, Russell Brand.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
This is how far we've come to deception, where I put more value and trust, because he might be wrong with something, but he's trying to be non-biased. He's literally like popping up stuff and just showing stuff. And it's like people are, and they realize that program, you know, is programming. Joe Rogan is way more powerful than any of the propaganda machines. So they don't want him. You know, they'll try and go after him.
Well, they gave him $100 million to go on Spotify.
Yeah.
That was really was that a way to like silence him a bit, take him off YouTube?
I don't know. I don't
try
know.
to maybe control what he's saying.
Yeah, Stephen.
It didn't work anyways because he still says whatever.
Stephen says carbon dating only works for organic material, so they use that number when found next to. Stephen usually is pretty good. He has some good knowledge. J.P. Morgan made him go bankrupt on purpose. I'm not sure about what the context, because he was way ahead of Edison time. Maybe he's talking about Tesla and free energy and stuff like that. He was probably taken out. How did Tesla pass away?
Old and miserable.
Inquisition news. Jesus said, "Whoever has come to know the world has discovered a carcass. Whoever has discovered a carcass of that person, the world is not worthy." Not sure. I've never seen that passage, and I'm pretty good with the Bible. And maybe it might be a Gnostic scripture, possibly. Science is just like Scientology. Well, I mean, it's like the scientific method is what brought us here. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo on that, but it's just that unfortunately, people are just like, I'm lazy. I don't want to do the research, so I'm just going to the scientist or the new priest. Look at Fauci. Imagine he was. Fauci. It's like whatever you say. It's like, oh, the science.
You gotta forget. Don't forget the Boston accent. Did you have like a? No, it was a.
He makes.
Not quite of an accent.
And no justice will happen there. It's like, oh yeah, like now they're calling him out on this. It's like, yeah, is he in jail? No.
No, yeah. They usually call them out when they're dead, so they can do anything. Let me tell you that Hugh Hefner died at the right time, because the Me Too movement started right after.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Yeah. Hugh Hefner would have been crucified.
Yeah. P. Diddy really makes sense. His name.
Who? Never heard of her.
Yeah. Hey, David White, how are you, man? Thanks, Stephen, for all the input. Wow, that's way too generous, Pat. Thank you. He says, let the Bruce sees all legacy continue. Well, this is what we're doing right now. A little bit more expanded, but
yeah, give us time to get used to this.
Yeah,
this is my first live, guys.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's like somebody was like, "Oh, you're gonna continue." It's like, okay, Bruce was unique. Like, it's not like he's not the only guy on YouTube with a telescope.
Yeah,
I don't, like the way he was able to use his skills in photography to adjust things to make things also be more like contrast and stuff like that. Like you have to have a lot of talent for that too.
Yep.
And so
lots of knowledge,
because they were asking me, like, it's like, well, first of all, I just cannot. It's first of all, my interest is not there for it. I do research. I teach at college. I work in healthcare. I'm a speaker. Like, I'm busy, and I do the Christian thing for fun. Like, you know what I mean? I would have never thought I'd get to 1,000. And so for me, Bruce, that was full time. So if they say, I hope you continue. Okay. I literally have to quit everything and be full time every night looking at the sky. I
totally understand.
It's impossible.
Look at me and my finding on the on TikTok. I'm not a.
Thank you, Pat.
I'm not a theologist. I know.
No, exactly.
Not much in religion.
Yeah.
And I get all these replies saying I caught the Ezekiel's wheels, and it deals into religion, and I'm confused because I don't know what to reply. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know because I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
No, exactly.
These are Ezekiel's wheels, so I didn't know. So some people showed it, and I said, oh, okay, so it does look at my picture because it looks like a Dyson sphere, and a little bit Dyson. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I still don't know who Jacob is, or
I
gotta.
No, exactly. And see, that's me. It was because I was spiritual, especially in my 20s. I really, that search that I need to know, curiosity, where like open mind, like near death experiences. I went to, the occult, even like everything, like I had that book by Manly P. Hall. It's The Secret Teachings of All the Ages.
Okay.
And he was a Freemason and stuff like that, and it goes into all the stuff. Theosophy, Anna Blavatsky, where Lucifer is the light bearer. So from her perspective, Lucifer is trying to liberate humanity from the evil Yahweh. So it's like it's against the Bible. It's a different perspective. It's like the Bible saying Lucifer, the light bearer, is evil, and then Theosophy, Gnosticism, and Freemasonry and Illuminati are all on Lucifer's perspective, saying no, he's actually trying to remove the enslavement.
Well, they said he stole the sacred fire from the gods to give it to man, to turn into a god himself.
Isn't there a Greek god that stole also something and gave it to humanity? So you can see the common theme.
Yeah.
So
doesn't that make him a good guy?
Well, in the Bible, he's definitely bad, but it's
no, because see, if you see, like I saw it, these are the gods keeping the sacred fire. Well, no, it's knowledge and consciousness, and they were keeping it from men, and Lucifer took it upon himself to bring it to man. So he gave us the gift of knowledge and awareness. I don't get it.
Well,
now. Is that good or is that bad?
Well, exactly.
It sounds good in my book.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that a lot of people are, oh, it's fairy tale. It's like, no, look at all the religions together. Every single religion except Judeo and Christian. All of them are on the side of the serpent. Serpent mounds in Canada and United States. Yeah. Let's go to the Mayans. Feathered serpent. Serpent wisdom. Right. Let's go to China. Serpent, the people of the serpent. Let's go to Transylvania. The dragon serpent. It's only Christianity that's based on the foundation. So Judeo-Christian, we're the only ones that are on the opposite side saying no. And so either way, it's like it's not a bunch of religions that are all doing their own thing. It is a common story. And all the other ones are saying that was the golden age, and the Christians and the Judeo-Christians are saying no, that wasn't. That was a rebellion, and the reason that it's no longer here is that finally Yahweh God destroyed it all because So which side? All I'm saying is that the story is there. It is because Theosophy, they're Luciferian. Meaning they're on the side of Lucifer. Lucifer's telling a story. God is telling a story. This is the truth, right? And what do you think the serpent said in a thing? He goes, no. He's trying to keep you stupid, basically. He goes, the day that you do eat that, your eyes will be open. You'll be like God. And stuff, so it's like he's making a claim. So I think that he was deceiving, but it's not fairy tale because all the religions are just saying the same story. It's awesome. It's crazy. Kundalini. You jump into meditation. It's Kundalini. The chakras and stuff like that. Like, do you? Because I'm a Christian. Oh, do you think now I'm a Christian? Oh, I don't believe in chakras. I'm a Christian. That's that. They know we have physical organs. Well, makes sense that we would have spiritual centers as well. But the one thing that I did wrong was I jumped into the meditation of the Kundalini, rising, this serpent energy, like meditate, and then bring it. And then when you breathe out, it was like imagining the serpent going through, thinking of each center, what they represent, trying to breathe through the third eye and stuff. And, it didn't work out for me, man. Bad stuff happened. I felt like there was like supernatural things happening, and I was losing grip. I felt like I was losing grip with reality, man. I thank God there's some people that grounded me because I was starting to go down Alice in Wonderland.
Don't try this at home, people.
No, so that's why I said the creator, whatever I'm trying to be open-minded without saying necessarily God or whatever the thing that is sustaining us is. I think that it do good, and that spirit, that consciousness will do what it has to do in the organs. So let's say your spiritual chakra, the blue one, it's for your throat. Well, if you're always lying and you're always spewing out hate, chances are that chakra is going to become corrupt. And then those spiritual centers act out eventually physical manifestations of diseases, probably. So I believe that. But it's like, your body, whatever the life is there that leaves when you die, and then you're just a shell, it's telling you to breathe. Am I going like, okay, kidneys start filtering out the blood.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, no, I'm a
I don't
a
tell
body.
my eyes to blink.
That's it. So I don't tell my spiritual centers what to do.
Yeah.
I try and then remain in the love, in the light, and I know that my spiritual centers will be balanced. But if you're trying to the gears, I think it's like a stick shift, and you're like, yeah, you're gonna break the gears.
Yeah.
So my mom at one point, like her as well, she was very into parapsychology, and she was doing parapsychology course, astrology, and all that stuff, you know. And her the guy who was teaching these courses and stuff like that, he said in French, tu joues avec le kundalini, là, tu vas être assis dans ta piste, puis tu vas te shooter au bar de pinot. What the hell does that mean?
Okay.
It means you start playing with the kundalini. He goes, you'll lose your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You know, in English, it was kind of like you'll be sitting in your pee shooting yourself with peanut butter, as if like you'll be, you know. And what I'm saying is, all we see all throughout all of these cultures is serpent, good. And
well, dragon has been changed, converted, and so Draco, it's been converted in so
yes.
many names.
Yeah.
Just dragon.
Yep. Let's just finish here, and then we'll finish soon there, because I mean, I could continue for hours, but it's up to you guys.
It's been 3 hours already.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why my streams, I get so into it.
Yeah.
But
I totally get it.
you know, look at all of these faults. This is the earth.
Yep.
Okay. And it says, in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 7th day of the 7th month, the same day, were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. Okay. Well, here we see huge oceans discovered inside Earth still. And I still need to research, because I'm open to the idea as well of hollow Earth theory, that, you know, there might be a lot of things
absolutely
that may be coming. And I also believe in these kind of like Eastern, about like these large ages and stuff like that. And I believe that it's like breath, you know. I believe that the spirituality, it's like a breath, you know, like you exhale, and the physical realm and the spiritual realm, the veil is thin. And then after, take a deep breath, and then after we lose all concept of spirituality. And yeah, it is raining all of a sudden. And then after, it's
okay,
like,
so no pictures. Well, I brought my
No,
tripod camera and everything to take
well, it might
pictures.
stop, you never know. But you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, like atheism comes back, and people like it's like, that's stupid. You believe in that. And then, but then after, it comes back again. And I believe that we're getting close to that phase where heaven and earth are very, very close. And then you can see, it would make sense, even like an orbit, right? Like when Planet X and Nibiru, or if we're going to, you know, it's like we wait for the orbit when it's the closest to go and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that it's ludicrous to us, but I think that there's a convergence of prophecy, biblical, extra biblical. There's and believe me, I'm not a fan of the Vatican. I think they're evil. But there is the prophecy of Saint Malachi. And who knows if it was written by that, but it's a prophecy of the popes. And it names the titles that the popes are given till the very end. And it has 112 popes. With Pope Francis, we just hit 112. So we'll see. But at the same time, we have 2030.
Red leather shoes.
We have 2030, right? That is almost like a huge thing with the World Economic Forum, the New World Order. Everyone's like, they're trying something by 2030. Like the system's going to be there.
Yeah, they call it Project 2030.
Exactly, right? So you have that's culminating. You have all the Christians talking about the end times, but they've been talking about that for a long time. But there was one prophecy of the fig leaf needed to rebud. That was meaning Israel, which the Bible centers all around it. Israel didn't exist, or from 70 AD. In 1948, it existed. And then Jesus said, this generation that sees all the famines, the wars. That's been like that for it means there a time of environmental chaos, social chaos, nations against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms. So there's that convergent also. And then the Pope prophecy is, it says the last Pope, the title will be Peter the Roman. I'm like, well, that's wrong. It's Pope Francis. Yeah, do a little investigation. His name is something Bergoglio, whatever. That's his real name. Okay, that doesn't help me. But when a pope gets its title, he always names himself after a saint. So this Bergoglio guy named himself after Francis of Assisi. Okay. Well, Francis of Assisi, his real name was Petro. So we got Bergoglio, who's an Italian, Roman, right? Who's actually named himself his title, Pope Francis, which is Petros. So did he do it on purpose to fulfill that prophecy? Maybe. But you can tell why now Catholicism has grabbed the Bible and whipped it and said, everyone gets to heaven. You can follow whatever path. He knows that the tribulation's coming. He knows the prophecy is accurate. And there's a convergence of so many prophecies and stuff like that, that extra biblical, that, people feel it. The UFO people they think that's correct. They feel it. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point, because even I feel it.
Yeah,
even I feel it. So, it's like the calme avant tempête. A great calm before the storm. Yeah, that's what I feel we're brewing right now, because it's like building. Yep. There's something building.
There is.
We saw the size of the beast with that Trump and Biden and Clinton. Mm-hmm. We saw the size of the beast, that they own the media, they own the court system. Yep. Everything is owned by them. Yep. And Goliath has become big. David has a lot of work to do now. When
Noah Yuval Harari is talking at the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and saying that all of the authoritarian, Karl Marx, and all these like leaders that enslaved their population, and there was massive genocide and stuff like that. He goes, there's no way for them to be able to control the world. But he goes, now we have the technology with AI, with facial recognition, with all of this, that all of this technology is potentially meaning everything is set up for the beast system. Mm-hmm. People have been talking 2,000 years about the beast system in Christians. It's like, yeah, well, it was impossible. Now everything's possible. Yep. And other people call it New World Order. We could even look at.
Well, wasn't America founded on the New World Order? They said they want to go to find a new world. Yeah, this is it's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, there were some. There were. Yeah, you want to stop it because you guys have to drive home.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got long drive home.
Yep. All right, we can stop it here. So just go through these slides, guys. Check out Brian Forster. He goes into the elongated skulls and the areas that you were talking about, all along these energetic fault lines. Here's all these various serpent mounds all around the world. These huge megalithic things that our cranes couldn't even figure out. Showing that. Look at this. These are our ancient ancestors. They were able to. How did they do that? There was either technology or massively huge people able.
I saw a video yesterday on YouTube, or I'm not sure it was today. It must have been this morning. And I don't know, it's somewhere in the United States, I think. Mm-hmm. They found a mountain ledge that has clearly cubes chiseled out of it, and so it looks like a quarry. Some of them have not been like just chiseled, not picked up. Yeah, but it's not natural. It's like perfect cubes, and the whole side of the mountain looks. It cannot be natural formation.
No, of course not. And that's the thing.
That's like laughing in our faces. Come on,
right? So
it's slap in the face,
right? Because and I'll let you guys go. In Revelation, at one point, John, it's right at the start. There's 7 churches, and so he talks to the 7 churches. Christians over time started to realize that, well, we believe in 6,000 years of human history, and then the millennial kingdom is the 7th day.
Yeah.
So each day for the Lord, it says, is like 1,000 years. And Jesus arrived, technically, if you're taking new young earth creationists, Christians, Jesus arrived at 4,000 years. Okay, and then after 2033, when he was crucified, that would be the end of 6,000 years. And the 7th day is rest, Sabbath. So we believe that's the return. All of these convergences. Now, the first church was the apostolic church. Okay, it doesn't exist. Those were people that walked with Jesus and heard what he said. The next church that is talked is the persecuted church, because Christians were getting persecuted.
Mm-hmm.
The other one church is the third church, is when Constantine, which wasn't a good thing, when the government and religion unified. Just like you see in Iran, the religion is the government.
Mm-hmm.
It's never good when that happens.
Mm.
And then after the other one is the Vatican. They didn't care. They just wanted to have people. So they're like, oh, okay, well, they're pagan, so we're just going to use Christian terms and paganize it. We'll just be like, that statue, that's Jupiter, we'll just say that's Peter, that one's Paul. And so you could see the Vatican and Catholicism is not Christian. Okay, whether Christianity is true or false, or the Bible, this is anti-Christian. These guys have snakes. Okay, the outside of the building. This is literally
that's such a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Look at the Baphomet.
Demonic statue you could have.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's hiding in plain sight. This is the
This
best
is hidden.
example right
This
there.
is supposed to be the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah.
Now, this here is not what it looks like. What they did was, and we'll see the original, they cut it in half and they mirrored it.
Yep.
And it literally looks like an alien or
a demon alien.
Yep,
It's a
coming
mixed, breed.
and the worship of Baphomet.
Yep.
Okay. And here, this is when it's not doubled. His hair is literally a snake. Okay. And this is Catholicism. This is the Vatican. This is what 3 billion Christians are following, so-called Christians. Okay. So anyways, we'll go through that's the end of it. But the size of these skulls that they're finding compared to ours, but we're actually supposed to believe that we were evolving into better. Like, this is alien. This is strange flesh, in my opinion. Some weird people.
Also a theory that says that human coexisted with Neanderthals and stuff like that, and we were hunted by night. That's why lots of people are afraid of the dark without even knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's because our ancestors has been hunted for thousands of years by giants.
Mm-hmm.
They would eat us. And that's never been written. That's never been reported.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be I think it's so logical, because everybody's afraid of the dark. One part of their life. At one part of their life, somebody's only been afraid of the dark. And they don't know why. And maybe it's because we were prey for thousands of years, and they would hunt at night.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we get everybody gets scared to walk in the woods in the dark in the night. Everybody will get friggin' frightened. Why?
And like they call, like, the witching hour, I don't know if it's 3:33 or something, and after midnight,
you basically, nothing's gonna happen to you, but still we get afraid. So why?
It's weird, eh? I was just actually showing what we were talking about, like all of these, like serpent. So I wouldn't say that the Bible, if you're a Gnostic, if you're a Freemason, if you believe in Theosophy, okay, take Lucifer's side and say, no, I really think that his version, he's telling the truth. But I don't think the Bible is fiction. I think it's historical. It's taking a different perspective. People might think it's the wrong perspective. That's the lie, but it's not fiction. It ties in. It's just that people have not pulled it all together. You know, they don't think of the serpent in the garden when they're going to do meditation, you know. So awakening a Kundalini chakra, presenting as psychosis. So, like, believe me, what I'm saying, I can back up, you know. And here we have it's fairy tale. It's like, well, if it's fairy tale, then there should be no archaeological evidence. But if there is archaeological evidence, that is should be taken into account. Now, the problem is that all the Holy Lands, almost all of them, are under Islamic rule,
Wow.
and they have the archaeological places, but it gives validity, and it also gives a land claim that they were there first. So they don't allow very much of anything. This is what people believe, and it's on the mountains of Ararat, which is where the Bible says that. Think of it. This is 5,000 or something years old, supposedly, if you do the math. Okay, this is a petrified, like mud fossil. It becomes stone. Okay, but this is where the ark lays, and there's evidence of, and the government of Turkey, where they acknowledge that it's Noah's Ark. You see here, this is Ron Wyatt, and look, he's scraping some of the dirt and stuff, and you can see that it looks like a helm of it's not just natural formation here. Okay, he looks, and it's petrified wood. I'm going through it very fast there. Okay, so he's telling this is what we're seeing here. That's petrified. That's 5,000 years old, I guess, during the flood.
I've seen this picture.
There's rivets and stuff like that with a metal detector. They hear beep, 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 and it goes along because it said Tubal Cain, the descendant of Cain, was a metallurgy. Yeah, so they weren't ignorant. They knew how to make various different metals and stuff like that. Now, the other thing is that the boats, Navy, they know that in the past they used to use drag stones, they called it. So under boats, you'd have this, and so that the weight, it would balance it. Now, what they found not far from this thing that they're claiming drag stones.
Yeah.
Look at these things, as if the ark started to hit land, and they started to fall off. And obviously Christians at one point, thousands of years ago, they knew this knowledge, because at one point this was not Islamic land, right? Don't forget, the Islam happened 600 AD. So obviously this is BC. So Christians, when they had the opportunity, because they were in the Holy Lands, they were quite aware. This is more technology to show the shape that we can't see under. So, Noah's house ruins. That's what the Muslims say. Oh yeah, that's Noah's house, Noah's altar. This is a village still in Arab language called the Village of the Eight. It's crazy,
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it.
Don't tell everybody.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm just going to finish the comments very fast, saying thank you to Bia. If I didn't say thank you for the super chat. Delta Dog, thanks for showing up in the comments. Thank you, everybody. Martin Hamel. Go quickly. I'm sorry if I'm jumping over, guys. Nanopath, thank you. Beth, for showing up. Just going through. This is at 8:30. Okay, so it shouldn't be too long. I'm at 8:30 here. Jason, if he knew it wasn't good, he would never have. He was trying to show the world the real truth, not the BS government is trying. Maybe that's about Bruce.
Oh, by the way, Bruce is getting a lot of attention on TikTok too.
Good.
That's cool.
There's no reason why his channel should not continue to grow.
A lot of people are still asking.
Research is research. It stays relevant. It's that people, I hope, will interact with his content, not steal it there, interact with it, and come up, they find a few more truths, and then it makes way more sense. That's...
Hopefully Sean will.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully
he'll take over.
You never know. All right.
He's gonna if he needs help, I think there's a lot of people that's willing to help right now.
Yeah.
I sure am one. Is in there.
The changes will be in the moon, stars, and sky. Dalai Lama just wanted. I wanted so bad to make the camping trip. Stephen A. About the camping trip you guys went to.
We could do whole shows or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. See. Yeah. Inquisition. Remember, I said you quoted Jesus. I said, I know the Bible pretty good. It's not there, you know? But that's what he's saying. Gospel of Thomas. So you know the Nag Hammadi library. So, but those were written around second, third century and stuff like that. Barnes says Ron Wyatt is the doc you need to watch about Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes. I don't want to start plugging in my channel, guys. If you go to my playlist, you go to Biblical Archeology, you will see Sodom and Gomorrah. It is still there in the Holy Lands. It is a city. You can tell the structure still looks like ashes, and there's balls of sulfur.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like, come on,
pure sulfur. Yeah,
and the majority of Christians wouldn't even be able to tell that. It's unfortunate how many you'll say, "Oh, you're a Christian. Have you read the book yet?"
Yeah.
Nope. You know. Okay, guys, we gotta just go quickly because these guys have a long drive home. Not me. I can just jump and watch the next Netflix. If you guys are interested, Oddity, I just watched it. I think it's on Prime.
They say
It's pretty good.
We'll be home already.
Yeah. Well, next time it's going to be, a sleepover. You guys, I have.
We're gonna do observation. We're gonna do observation
No
the
way.
whole night. We could do that.
Yeah. New World Order is real. Darn great stream. Too bad you guys can't stay later. Well, at least you guys didn't have to hear completely me nonstop jazz. Blah, 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 blah. They were able to cut in. So nice to see you guys. That's Jules from Oregon, another channel supporter. Thank you very much. And we're almost there, guys. The last few chats. That's the Vatican picture I was talking about. Yeah, believe me, I got it all. All right, that's it. Jason, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Please continue. And thank you to Alex as well and Vander. Thank you, Magic, for showing up. So that's it. We're just under 3 hours, and I'm gonna go delete that other disaster stream that we started with. And that's it. God bless. Thank you. Anything to say, guys? Last
take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Thank you very much for coming.
All right.
Thank you for your comments.
Now this is where I'm supposed to actually press end stream.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.